Hello, and welcome to Life of a Boss, the podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, public speaker, and mentor, Jason Harden. This podcast is all about helping audiences create and reach their own definition of success through positive thinking, perseverance, and personal development. Having survived extreme obstacles from an early age, such as cancer, poverty, abuse, family dysfunction, and even homelessness, Jason has learned how to master the art of resilience and defy all odds to become the boss he is today. So, get ready for some serious game and remember to keep an open mind. Now, without further delay, here is your host, Jason Harden.
Welcome back to another special episode of Life of a Boss, the podcast. I am your host, Jason Harden, and we have a returning, very special guest in the building right here live, Jennifer Gibbs, the boss lady herself. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful, and I'm very excited because I'm always happy when you're around. Like, I've known you for a long time. And you always bring good vibes and good energy, and you've always been a good person. Like, I'm talking about since, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah,
and to watch you grow and do everything you've done and accomplish everything you've accomplished from, degrees and masters and careers and six-figure salaries and self-driving BMWs. So I don't know what else you got going on, but I know 99% of what I said is true. And to see it start from slinging candy and suckers.
Oh man, I don't know if anybody knows that about me. But
man,
yeah.
we're going back.
In high school.
And we come from a tight knit community, so there's a lot of folks that remember if they see this, like, oh, I done bought a caramel apple from her. And now
my side hustle was selling candy in high school. I used to go to the Price Club back then. I don't even know.
Wow, she went to the wholesale. I went to the store.
No, this
no,
is
she
the
was
equivalent of whatever Costco is now.
Wow.
So back then,
really?
In the 90s, I don't think it was Costco. It was I forgot, the Price Club or something. It wasn't Costco though.
I never knew, and that's better than Smart and Final.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I might even, sometimes I would find candy in the most random places. I don't know if y'all remember Pick and Save.
Oh, I remember Pick and
I
Save.
think it's
There's
Big
one
Lots
left.
now.
There's one left. Yeah.
I think Big Lots is gone.
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah,
I used to get my candy and I used to take it to school. I would get the Blow Pops and the Jolly Ranchers, and I would just be in class like, hey, Blow Pops are a quarter, and
her profit margin was serious. Now, I'm still tripping off going to the wholesale place, man, because I slanged from the liquor store. I was that convenient. I only put that markup from 10 to 25. You was getting them for 3 cents each.
You think so?
Yeah. When you do the numbers on that shit, yeah. When you get 100 for $7, and then man, I was paying 10 cents each, selling them for 25.
Yeah, and then I was babysitting on the side. I would wash my neighbors' cars. I actually, now that I think about it, I always kind of had something going on and make a couple extra dollars for the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
To get candy and to get
I'm gonna ask you one since we're right here.
Yeah.
Okay, you always had a little goal, right?
Yeah.
The ice cream truck.
Yeah.
But I think for you and a lot of people like you, including myself, was the hustle part of the fun? You looked forward.
I knew it was.
Yeah, looking back.
Yeah, looking back, it definitely kept me busy as a child, and I knew that, because I kind of had those type of parents who were like, we don't got it. We don't have the money, or, oh, sorry, da-da-da. So I would kind of my dad had this big glass, I can still see it in my head. He had this big glass, it was square, but he just threw change in it every day. But it was mostly pennies.
Yeah.
So I used to literally just count out pennies,
Did you wrap them?
I never wrapped them. I just grabbed enough to be try to the store and try
get
to get something for 25 cents or 15 cents.
Get some work.
Be like, girl, get out of here with these pennies.
Yeah.
But I always was trying to scrape for something to get whatever it was that I wanted.
Yeah.
So to me, it was just oh, this is just a means to an end. I just did it because I wanted.
It was the
something,
process.
And
this was the process.
Way to get it.
Yeah.
And I guess that carried on throughout who I was in my career. Now that I think about it.
Well, first off, you're here not just because I know you, because I know a lot of people and they ain't here. You're a boss. Straight up. Boss lady. And boss really has no gender because once you hit boss status, it's boss status. To me. I think so. But we're going to talk about the difference between the two because I have a lot of listeners who are males, but then I have a lot of females who they appreciate the information, but I don't know if I'm missing anything. Because me, like I said, I think once you hit boss status, it's all relevant. Like, I'm only talking about relevant shit, but I think while you're here, you can talk about whatever I'm missing in that. It might be in relationships. It might be in how you deal and network with people. It might be how you do business and how you might get better prices. You might get worked. I don't know. But I know you're a boss and you done figured out whatever it is and then got the best case scenario. So that's what I want to, teach my audience or at least show them, because I know there are a lot of ladies out there who look like, okay, I'm not a man, so they're not going to give me that deal. Or they're not going to look at me like I'm a business owner, entrepreneur. They're going to look at me like a house mom or whatever and charge me that woman price, whatever that is,
You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
I never think about it like that.
Really?
I don't think I have a disadvantage for being anything. I've never thought of myself as being at a disadvantage for any reason. I always thought my input was my output. I always just knew whatever I put into it is going to determine what I get out of it. So I don't really think of the reasons why I could be not getting something. I always blame myself for that. So I never thought and I'm not saying it's not real for some people. I'm not saying that it may not be real for me. But I never spend time thinking about why I can't have something or what makes me at a disadvantage for not having it.
Yeah.
I think that's wasted energy. That does nothing for me. It doesn't motivate me any more or less. I just know if I want something, I go get it. That's pretty much it. I align myself to that and I ensure that I am in the energy sector or on the frequency to receive that.
Yeah.
And thinking that I have a disadvantage is not the frequency that's going to get me what I want. So I just don't think like that. I've just never really thought like that. I've never really had that for myself.
It's accountability and that maximizing self-control, controlling what you can. And that's what I'm getting from that because, and I love the way you say that because to me, that's one of those transcending boss traits. You don't see the limitations that other people see on you.
Yeah, no.
Because I never felt that. Because I know that, to me, I live okay. But I also know that maybe somebody might think I wouldn't have ended up okay. And me being one of those. Because there was a long time where I didn't think that maybe I was going to get here. I just saw here. The process and all that. I didn't know that I was going to do this, to lead here, to get this, to make this much money. It's just now I'm here.
Yeah.
But I always saw the vision. I always had the goal, always had the drive.
Yeah.
But what you said about just controlling what you can control.
Yeah. I just always thought that I had favor.
That's even flipping it. Know what? See, those little points right there is why we do this show. See, that's the mindset. That's the mindset because I think people that don't see the opportunities that they can take advantage of. See, you got a job, you're going to do the best that you can. You're not going to be here you're not there I'm a woman. I'm not getting paid as much as them. And you're not even focused on that. You signed up for the job you're doing, whatever that was and whatever you negotiated.
Yeah. And
you're here to nail that shit.
Well, the thing about especially in my career, I never used to negotiate, but I didn't negotiate because I was oh, I'm a woman, I can't negotiate. I didn't negotiate because I didn't know how to. I didn't negotiate because I was ooh, I better not because I'm not going to get the job if I negotiate. I better just take what they're giving me. That was a very conscious choice. I thought that I was just doing what I was supposed to do. But I learned over time, I was you're the one accepting it. No one's accepting it for you. You're saying, okay.
Yeah.
So if you want more, ask for more.
Yeah.
Or if you want more, be marketable enough to ask for more.
Yeah.
No one's going to hand me anything. So I did. I went back to school a few times. I tried to get a couple more certifications I did what I thought I had to do to be marketable. I did what I thought I had to do to get yes. Like, you can't deny this.
Mm-hmm.
Was it easy? No. But I didn't blame anything else. I wasn't like, oh, the world's not set up for me. Like, I don't think that way. So it was hard. I'm not going to lie. I cried. I thought I deserved it. I was like, what is going on? Like, I think I said it in my last interview. I applied for like over 300 jobs in my own company. That's not even counting other companies. I was like, I can't even move around in my own company.
That's a lesson in massive action.
Oh, my God.
People say if you want massive change or something to change, take massive action. And that not 3. Some people do 10 interviews or 10 applications, and they hustled 300.
Oh, my God. The way I'm so done with interviewing, like, the idea of interviewing right now would make me so sick. But also, I also realized, too, even in interviewing or applying for 300 jobs, there was still a level of energy. Like, people don't really understand, like, your belief system and your energy is so important through all those processes, right? So once I realized, like, you know what? I have 2 degrees and a certification. I've gone to school. I have a specialized skill, and I know that. And I can't assess why that person didn't give me the job. It does me no good to try to figure out why I didn't get that job. But what does help me is to say, I'm going to go forward anyway and so instead of like trying to enhance my skill set, because there was a part of me that was just like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not going back to school. I owe a lot of money.
I know enough to make some money.
Yeah. I started saying, okay, I'm going to learn how to interview better. I'm going to learn how to negotiate. I'm going to learn how to tell stories. What do people look like in an interview? What do they look for when you're interviewing? How can I be more engaging? How can I tell stories that people are like, oh, I remember her? Or, oh, yeah. Like, the job that I have now, I did 11 interviews. Okay? And so I had to be like, oh, this is stuff that I actually know. I don't have to fake this. My personality is who I am. I don't have to fake this. I wasn't faking anything. I just learned how to take what I had and turn that into something, because all the stories that I tell in the interviews were true. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from where I failed. I learned a lot from, like, hey, I did something wrong. Like, I messed something up. Like, it was bad. But guess what I learned from that? Like, I'll never make the same mistake again. Right? So, like, I just started being human and stopped saying, like, all these canned responses that people are used to you saying. Like, no one cares. But if you sit down in an interview and you say, like, oh, this really happened to me and this is how it was impacted. This is what I learned from this experience and this is how I was impacted. Like, this is what I know how to do. And I think I even said it in the interview before, like, nothing trumps experience. And I had to realize that, like, this was I had to go through this to get here. And once I was able to just say, you know what, this is what I had to do, and I can't hate that. I can't, at the time I wasn't as happy about it. But when I look back, I'm like, oh, like, that's how I got here.
That was the moment.
You can't take it away. There's no supplement for that. There's no way to there's no circumventing that.
At some point in that process, there was a level of confidence you had to reach.
Oh, yeah. Confidence was, like, number one.
What was that moment, and how did that cut on? Because you said, there was a moment where you wasn't worth it. You didn't know, how to get the job.
So
am I going to go back to school? And like, really not valuing what you already knew and what you knew you knew. And still trying to add on to that. And like I said, what was that defining moment? Like, no, I'm going with what I got, and I'm going to express myself. I'm going to poke my chest out. What was that? What made you want to poke your chest out?
When I sat down and really thought about the things that I had done.
Your accomplishments?
Yeah. When I really sat down, and even my brother or my mom would be like, girl, you did that? And I would be like, oh. And they'd be like, no, seriously.
You went through the process. Yeah.
So
it's amazing to go through processes. Like, serious.
One of my best friends works at the company I used to work at. And she told me, like, oh, yeah, I'm using this system. Let's just call it whatever. Let's just call it anything. I'm using a system here at work. And I was like, oh, wait, they still use that? She was like, yeah, why? I was like, girl, I built that.
Wow.
And she was like, you're lying. I was like, no. She was like, friend, we use that all the time. It's still there. I left that company 4 years ago.
Wow.
And I did that 10 years ago. And she was like, yeah, we still use it. It's awesome. And I was like, bro, Like that
that's
moment
there,
there, I was like, I can't believe they're still using it.
So that's where it came from?
Well, that was like a more of a
that's
feather
an
in
eye
my
opener.
cap where I was just like, dude, stop undermining.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't even think about that type of response. Like you don't even think about that kind of stuff, especially when you leave a job, and then just somebody just mentioned that impact, and it's like their day to day because you were there, and that's incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a very interesting moment where I was like, that added to my confidence. But again, I think if you take the time, and I know some people say in interviews like, I don't want to seem robotic and I don't want to seem like I have all the answers, but I think being prepared for anything is so important, because like you need to say like, I got this ready, it's in my hip, like I'm ready to shoot. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was just more like preparedness, and I realized that people, if you connect with them and look at them in the eyes and tell a story with passion and compassion, and like, this is really what I want to do, like I'm aligned to this, that's memorable. They're gonna go back and say, you know what, Jennifer? Jennifer, yes.
She's a person.
She's
a person.
Like, did she told me this story about how she did it. Like, she gets it. Like, she's someone I want to work with. Or someone I think, and again, like the interviews that I went through for the company that I'm at right now, it was 10 different people from 10 different parts of the company. Like, they weren't even on the hiring committee. All the notes are given back to who the hiring committee is, and they look at it, so it's impartial. Like, they don't know who I am.
Wow.
They just say, do we want to hire her or not, based on what everybody said about her. So that's what I mean. It's just like, what is for me, and there has to be that alignment and that connection. And I'm learning that throughout life with not just work. I'm learning that through my podcast. I'm learning that through who I spend time with. I'm learning that through my friendships and my associations. Like, it helps me worry less about what I don't know, because alignment is the perfection of not knowing what's gonna happen. It's alignment. So you trust it. It's like faith.
It's like you just know the sidewalk and to keep going.
Because no one, as much as we try to act like we do, no one knows the future. No one knows what's coming next.
You know what? So much has happened since this last interview. You know, you've changed so much, and it showed when you walked in the door with your people. You know, it's totally different, and I want you to get into what changed, because you're still everything you do. You didn't quit any careers. You didn't. It wasn't a major change, but you added and you enhanced and you extracted value out of all the other areas you're good at. What are the changes? What happened? Tell me what are the differences from being 9 to 5 tech or whatever your hours were.
They're all over.
To the followers, the content creation, the interviews. Man, what I see, I can look and see.
No, I have like less than 4,000 followers. But my podcast has like 65K.
It's engagement. It's engagement. There's a percentage. You know, you're just gonna grow when that engagement grows up.
Well, here's the thing.
So what's the difference? You
know, it's because I believe so much in alignment. So I never wanted, like, I am dead serious. Like, people will like look at my Instagram or look at who I am, and they know I'm very private. I don't like being on camera. Like, that stifled me for a long time, where I was just like, I just don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to be scrutinized. I don't want to be in the public eye. Like, just leave me in the background where I'm at. I don't want to do it. But I read a book months before, maybe even a year before this happened. It's by Michael Singer. It's called the something experiment. Y'all correct me. Y'all go look at it. I think it's the,
who's the author?
It's Michael A. Singer, and it's something about the experiment.
Michael A. Singer.
He wrote Untethered Soul, which is one of my favorite books. We had another one called the something experiment, the life experiment. Anyway, after reading that book, he talked a lot about how he allowed things to happen. Like, he was against it in a way. Like, his physical self was like, I don't want to do this. But his alignment, his purpose, what he knew he had to do, went with it anyway, and it opened so many doors for him.
I love it.
So when I was approached about doing the podcast, I was like, okay, nothing about me wanted to be on
there's a reason you wasn't being approached.
I don't think people care about what I have to say. And not like that, but I just don't think people care about what you have to say. And that's just me not being like full of myself, I guess. And not that anyone who does is, but I'm just saying, like, for me, I was like,
Like, what makes me special?
Yeah,
like,
I don't care. Like, I don't care to like go in front of people and tell them my story. I don't. It's not what I thought my calling was.
Yeah,
right? But I know from like my engagement with other people that I do have something to say.
Absolutely.
So I went with it. And that was me being in alignment with that purpose. And now it's opening more doors. Now it's like, oh, I have this voice.
On top of.
And it was immediately successful. It was immediately we had engagement. It was immediately we had followers. We immediately had videos go viral. Immediately.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
I love it.
There's aspects of it. You know what's less fun for me about it is the business aspect, right?
Yeah.
I think the business aspect kind of ruins it for most people because they, you got to get your ducks in a row. You got to open the business. You got to, you're monetized. You guys have to make decisions as a team for like what's
marketing
best for
and all that. And management.
And we don't do any of that.
And structure and scheduling and
getting together to film.
Yeah. It's production.
Like my best friend, he has a family. My other friend on the podcast, she has a full-time job. She's busy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we really have to get together to make sure like we're in alignment with the vision.
Yeah.
How do we want to promote? We don't promote anything.
Whatever you just do it. You do it. Yeah.
We don't pay for ads.
Yeah.
We don't pay for followers. We don't pay for like we just put it up. We literally
it's all organic.
And we're all just being ourselves. Like people are like, oh, you staged that. We're like, we didn't stage anything. Like we didn't script it. We don't script anything. We have a topic. It goes, it goes left, and sometimes we talk about it, and sometimes we go crazy on something else. Like we don't. It's honestly just a blessing to even have that level of success in that podcast in a little bit less than a year, to have millions of views on our videos, over 60,000 followers. Like our YouTube probably has like 15,000 subscribers. We just do what we do.
And you're still relatively new.
And we're still
just starting out.
Oh my God, we did a live show, relatively new. That was our first one. Like, okay, now we're gonna do more. Like, I love my team. I love Azar. I love Six. Like, we're very close. The UAF podcast has been such a blessing.
Tell everybody where it's at real quick.
Oh, yeah. Part 2.
No, not your people know.
Oh, sorry.
My people don't. Yeah. UAF.
Listen,
I'm doing give them the link. Give them the links, the website.
I'm not used to this stuff.
But she learned quick. I tell you that.
Yeah. So it's the UAF podcast. That is our handle on everything. TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram. It is literally the UAF podcast. We have a good time over there. 3 different perspectives. So my best friend is married with children. Me and Azar are single. So there is a dynamic there that you can only imagine what it's like to have like a whole married man trying to give advice to us, like single women who've been trying to catch a vibe. And here's the thing. Like, I'm getting older, so catching a vibe is like out, right? Like I don't know if I can get away with catching anymore. Like, I'm too old to be catching a vibe. And I'm not mad at that. Like, my hair is gray. Like, I'm graying. Like, I've learned a lot.
What's your definition of catching a vibe? Like
to me,
pulling something like out the club. Or like what is it? What's catching a vibe?
The club. When's the last time you've been in a club?
Seriously, I don't. But because that's what I wanted to get into. See, at a certain age, the club is out. It's like it's not even where you would. It's not even where you want to find somebody.
It's loud. I can't talk to nobody. Like, honestly, my like social anxiety will not allow it. Like, I'm just not comfortable there.
So
I'm
getting
a different person.
As a boss who can, like you said, you don't need nothing but what you want.
Okay.
I see that. You know what I'm saying? And I know that to be true. Like, you don't need anything from anybody but what you want out of a person.
Yeah.
So how does that help or hinder, like, the relationship process?
I think it's a process, period, because I decided very late in life, like, you can ask anybody, my friends, they'd all be like, Jen's not getting married. She does not want to have kids. I still don't want to have kids. I'm open to marriage, but only for the reasons that I will state, which is, to me, marriage is transactional. I would not get married to someone just because I was in love. I would get married because we have properties together. We have businesses together. And unfortunately, if something were to happen to him or me,
it makes sense on paper. It's
the
a
legalities
business.
is necessary. Like that would be my only reason for getting married, to protect our assets.
Yeah.
There's no.
And that's
reason.
if you built assets with someone or plan to.
Or plan to.
Like you said,
like
that's.
There's no point otherwise because it's a marriage license.
Yeah.
So you're signing
no, it's serious. It's serious.
It is a business.
Absolutely.
It counts on your taxes. It's a whole other.
Totally
thing.
believe it. Yeah.
So other than that, I never wanted to get married, and for a long time I played around. I'll be the first to tell you, like I was single doing my thing for a very long time. Like I'm out here. Like I liked to date. I liked being single. I liked not having what I thought was the setbacks of a relationship. Unfortunately, I think I played around too long. I'm a little older, so I'm like, oh God. Luckily for me, my age doesn't show in the same way.
Like you still got it?
I think
basically,
so.
Stacey still got it.
But
that's an understatement. For real, though. Because like I said, even being a boss, it's like time always goes. So you're not going to get youth back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that's out.
My back will be hurting,
But other options open up. You know, like things you didn't see that before when you were younger.
Yeah.
You know, now you see the value of people. Now you see, okay, I would never have done this before, but now, like, this makes sense. Like,
that for me was, I realized that I had to be extremely intentional. Right?
Man, say it again.
I have to be extremely intentional. For one, I never got into a relationship haphazardly. Like the last relationship I was in was like 2014. I do not play. Boyfriend.
When you're in, you're in.
It's commitment, regardless. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm out, I'm out. And I'll tell you. Like I don't play with nobody. I'm transparent. I will tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I tell you right where I stand and what I think your purpose is for my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're not that, I'm okay with it. Like it's fine.
It's okay. It's just the truth.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started. One of my really good friends we would talk about like dating all the time, and he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, dang, like it's very cutthroat. And that was him as a man. He's like, no, you as a woman, you have to protect yourself by doing some of these things.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I started talking
yeah.
about that on the podcast, and it got like a lot of talk about it back and forth. But like, I don't go on dates.
Yeah. And some of these things be what? Just protect yourself?
Well,
protect your interest in what you want out of something. And like, if you're honest and you're clear, then it shouldn't be any misunderstanding, right?
I think that men and women should stop glamorizing dating and should stop going on dates that are like extravagant or doing things that mask what a real relationship is about, right? And to me, when a man approaches me, I have an idea of what I want that man to look like and what I want him to be in my life.
Yeah.
You can't take me on a date and pull the wool over my eyes and buy me a steak and make me think that he's a good man for me because he bought me a steak once. I will not allow a man to take me out on a date. So if you're in my DMs asking me to go on a date, you're not listening to me.
What, man?
I will not go out on a date with you.
I always said, like, when I was younger, I'm married now.
Yeah,
but
congratulations, by the way. I'm pretty sure I said that before. Are y'all on 3 years now?
We're going on 3. We just passed 2. So yeah, and we're in a great place. Like I said,
your wife is fantastic.
She is. She's the boss too. Cause like you was just saying, it's processes, and she doesn't see the amazing things that she does from the inside. I'm seeing on the outside looking in, just like you said, your family look at you like you accomplished this and you did that, and you just say, I'm just holding my head down doing it. Yeah, and that's how she is. She holds her head down, doesn't look for no recognition, no praise, didn't care about her degree that came in the mail, did not care about the shit. Didn't go to the service or anything, but didn't even care about the shit coming in the mail and was just already on what she was doing it for. Wow. And I look at that and I admire that, because that's intentional. Yeah. And she's way more intentional than me. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the audience seeing how many different ways that plays out. Because you applied it just straight to one thing, and that's dating and relationships. Yeah. But being intentional in all you do, to me, is the key to success. Because at every point, you're where you want to be or doing what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think also a harder part a lot for people to do that I've learned too is I'm not really outcome based. Like I think we're so tied up in what the outcome is supposed to be that we're not living now. Right?
You're in the moment, huh?
Yeah, I try to be more in the moment. It's not every day. Like I'm human. Like there's days where I'm just like, ah. But I think when it comes to dating, I believe it's more important to make sure you're in alignment with that person before there's ever an emotional connection. And people put the emotional connection first and then realize they're not
and there's no alignment. You know
and
what?
Now we're attached.
What I was going to say before is I used to go on, like my dates would be running errands with me.
Really?
We go do shit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go by the post office. I gotta go some shopping. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do some things. And for me, I was always able to gauge a lot by that. You know what I'm saying? First of all,
that was like
it's still time together. Yeah. Oh shit! It's nothing but a test. Everything, because you're gauging reactions.
Females were like, I don't want to. I don't want to run errands with you.
And that's number one. See, there's levels of this shit.
I'm so glad.
See, and you get cut at certain levels, but and you might not get cut right then and there, but you make the mental assessment, the note, like, okay, yeah, she's not gonna cut it. And then it goes beyond that. It goes to the level of patience someone has. And you're not just putting them through bullshit. It's not a hazing process. It's just a regular day for me. Yeah. It's a regular day. And just like you say, how does this motherfucker get down on a day-to-day? And it's me introducing her to the people I know, the businesses or whatever that count on me. And it's just showing her a day. And I still wanted to spend that time with her. So if she's not appreciating the time, because this is intimate time. This is intimacy.
Yeah.
When you see me on my day being me, and the different code switching I do on phone calls or whatever the fuck it might be going, because like I said, I'll be in the hood and I'll be in the damn politics. So you never know. But the person I'm with, I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you met me, depending on what you saw, that's not all of me. This is me. Spend a day with me and you'll see.
That's so interesting. And I am so glad that you said that, because I really, hold on, my phone went off real quick. Hold on.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you back.
We can edit that part out. I think that's beautiful, because I truly think, and I'm going to look dead in the camera when I say this.
Oh, shit.
I really think men need to buckle down and stop taking women on dates.
Yeah, I never heard it put like that.
Like, literally, y'all just need to, as a unit, need to say no. Because I think that helps weed out. Now, if you're the type of guy who wants to catch a vibe, you're not really looking for anything, I think you're aligned to a person who is also trying to catch a vibe. Take her out. Y'all go have a drink. Y'all go play around.
Have a date.
A date. You're not serious. You just want to do your thing. Women want to catch a vibe. Maybe you'll get some that night. Maybe she wants to give it up. But I think that women should never go on a date with a man, for one, that she's not interested in, and for two, a man that she does not want to sleep with. I know that's gonna be a tough pill to swallow, but if you don't like that man like that, or if you don't like, women will say it all the time, like, stop lying. Like, the minute you meet a guy, you know if you want to sleep with him or not. You know. And if you're gonna sit here and say you don't know, that's fine. If you're one of those people that's saving yourself for marriage, that's fine. I'm not saying give up your body when you don't want to. I'm saying you know when you want to.
Yeah. You're saying use it as a filter, really, because I'm saying like that's great advice, really, because I think that would limit side babies.
Yeah, what's the point?
It would limit everything that women hate about their baby daddies or baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? Because you're starting from that point. Like I said, you're intentional. You go in with your intentions clear.
Don't take them out. They should be able to meet you for coffee. Men, women, whoever, y'all should meet for coffee, pay for your own drinks, and have a conversation. There is no reason, not one reason, that you should sit down with a man over steak or him planning this extravagant date for you. He only has to do that a few times to get to you. So you're again, the wolves pull over your eyes.
Wow, look at that. You went very deep with this. You know what I'm saying?
You've been disillusioned, and he's so nice, and he got me flowers, and in in a month or 2 months later, you let him hit, and then he's gone because he already understands what he has to do to get to you.
Yeah.
So you can stop playing yourself.
Yeah, it was a paradise. It was an act. It was temporary. The whole shit.
Women have given the men the blueprint to play with them.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, like, that's a date. Like that's how we're taught to date.
Exactly.
But that's the cool thing. That's why I love you on the show today, because you are saying boss shit from your perspective that I ain't never thought. Like I said, it might be the sex thing. Like I don't know if men think along those lines. We think
they're
that
just
way.
doing what they're supposed to do.
But coming out that way, like I said, it's only going to be articulated a certain way. And I would have never articulated it that way. But I understand everything you just said.
Yeah.
And it's shocking because it's a provocative thing to say. Oh, stop dating.
Yeah.
But really, that's not the reality of what that relationship's going to be. So if you're going into a situation on wanting that to be a relationship, you're going to have to go on interviews for that relationship. Hold interviews, but not a date. You know what? One thing I never liked about like going on certain dates was the movies. There's no time to fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? You gotta shut up through the whole thing. Yeah. You can't even look at this person's reaction. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just all glued on something else, and that's not. There's no connection. So I never liked the movies for a date, but you broke it all the way down why it doesn't work. Yeah. And I appreciate that. If that's the shit you giving on your show, Jen, I'm not surprised why you got millions of views. And seriously, and when I told someone he was going to be on the show, and somebody said, oh yeah, she blowing up with that relationship advice. And like I said, I know you from how I know you. And I know how you get down in your business world and your finances and just you doing you. That's some bullshit to me. That extra shit, I love that so much more because that's you. Because one thing I love about your career is that, it's good and successful, but that other part is you. Whether it makes the money, whether it's monetized, whether all the business part is the part you hate of it, that's the part that you're leaving out. That's the mark you're leaving on the world. You know, besides those programs that other people use, and then nobody ever, like you said, not going to get no credit or love for that.
Well, I'm not getting paid for that, but I do have the experience. But like, I just learned that. And here's the thing. I've learned that from listening to men talk. Women typically give advice that hurts other women. And women think that I'm a pick-me or that I'm on the man's side. When I'm really like, if I'm on the man's side, but men are agreeing with me saying they don't want to take you on dates. Not because they don't want to spend the money on the date. Y'all think, if he ain't got the money,
it's not about the money. It's not about the money. For real.
Why does he have to get to know you over a steak? And let me also sit here and say, like, some women show up on the date and they're not talkative. They are using men
for a meal, for a damn meal. Yeah.
It is a
that's
meal
a diet.
Plan.
Yeah, that motherfucker is nutrition.
It is a meal.
You date out of nutrition.
And then let it be known as well that there is generally a man on the sideline that after she gets done with you, she going home to somebody else.
Yeah.
The guy she is screwing or the guy she is
the one who ain't paying for food.
Not taking her out. So again, be wise.
Man,
use your discernment, use your judgment. If that woman will not sit down and talk to you for free, she's not truly interested in you as a person. And I think that women also need to get themselves together and think about, why do you think that a date is an investment in you? He does not know you. It's not an investment in you. Him having an investment in you means he has a plan for you. That's an investment in you. A date is not an investment. Stop thinking that dates are going to get you what you want from a man, because a date is a very low barrier of entry to get to you. Very low. Taking you on a date is the minimum he could do.
And no matter how expensive the date.
No matter how expensive
it's still
the
a low.
And he can blow it. He can have money.
Man, and it'd still be nothing.
He could a man spending money on you is nothing. If
it's not a measurement.
Plan for you, does he want to get you out of debt? Does he want to help you with your future plans? Does he want to start a business with you? Does he love who you are as a person? I think it's weird that you expect a man to spend money on you when he does not know you.
My God.
Why would he want to spend money on you? He does not know you. That is weird. You should feel weirded out by that. I had a man say to me, oh no, that's my coat. I was brought up that way. I was like, sir, I appreciate it, but you will not take me on a date. I don't know you. I need to know if you meet the minimum criteria for me to even have a conversation with you, bro. And that's not me being highfalutin, or I don't think it's because seriously. I think I'm somebody. I think it's because it is the easiest way to determine what someone's actual intentions are. If you two want to get to know each other and build a life together, you should sit down and ask each other the hard questions way before you're ever invested in each other emotionally. It makes no sense to do it any other
I got
way.
a question.
Sure.
What do you say to the people that ask, does that apply to me? The women that ask it? Because to me, I see that what you say is universal. It applies. Yeah. Some people see, well, that's okay for them or for, but what do you say? Like, how is that? Because what you said, it's very universal. What makes it universal?
Because I don't really see any other way to do it. That is,
it's correct.
The clearest way to know. Because here's the thing: when a man spends money on you, it is a form of power. It's a shift in energy that you're not even thinking about, right? Because you're just like, oh, it's just some food, it's just some coffee. Like that's what he should do. Men should spend money.
Man.
But some men expect a lot more. Is that right? No. There are some places on this earth, in some countries, you can look it up if you want to, where if a man spends money on you, that means you're going to have sex with him. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not condoning it. You can Google it. You can look it up. My friend was on a date, and the guy actually said, hey, are you okay with me paying? And she was like, what do you mean? Of course. He was like, no, I'm just saying because in this culture, me paying for your date means you want to have sex with me.
It's like paying for sex. Like that's what he was asking.
And he asked her, I'm not making this up.
I believe it. Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, like, I know. If that's the issue, I'll pay. And he was like, no, I just want to make sure that, like,
it's my intentions.
Page.
And this is my intention.
So,
Wow.
Again, that is an exchange of power. That is an exchange of energy. When a man does something like that, or spends $300, $400, $500 on a date, upwards of that if he wants to, I think in the back of his mind, he's hoping he's getting laid.
Of course. Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're going to do it. I'm not saying you have to do it. You're not entitled to do it. Your body, your choice. Again, please hear me when I say I am not condoning that. What I am saying is that it is an exchange of energy. And I think we as women should be careful with that.
Hell yeah.
Like, you're not giving me anything, and I'm not giving you anything but time. We are going to sit here and make sure that we have the same idea about what a relationship is. Do we want to have kids?
Got a quick question.
Do you want to get married?
That whole concept.
Yeah.
Is it teachable or is it just for those who are raised like that? Because, some women are going to be like, oh, no, she was just raised like that.
Yeah, no, I was not raised like that.
Meaning it's teachable.
It's teachable.
And it's a good habit to learn and teach, right?
I understood that when a man told me that a couple of years ago, and I was like, dang, that makes so
Told you what?
much sense. Don't go out on a date with a man unless you want to sleep with him.
Yeah.
Dates are reserved for people who are dating.
Yeah.
And what I think women especially don't understand is you're gonna get some. Like, you're gonna get to that point.
Yeah.
But make sure you're dating a man who values that first.
Who you want to get to that point with, and maybe beyond that point.
Maybe he doesn't value it. That's why the women always say, well, he doesn't take me out anymore. He doesn't do the sweet things that he used to do.
Yeah.
He already got you.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do it no more. You should have learned from the beginning whether he was that type of guy or not. And I can't sit here and say that I never did that. That's my thing. This is learned. This is something I'm learning on the tail end of my life. Because I decided I want to be intentional about who I decide to be with.
How much of an advantage is that concept for girls to get it earlier in life?
You could stop wasting time. You could stop getting ghosted after 2 months. You could stop trying to figure out why he's not calling you back. You don't care. You're not invested.
So, like you say, you're like junior high, high school. As soon as you start thinking about boys, I'm serious, because that's where it starts.
I mean,
that's where the hormones start. That's when you start looking at the other sexes and start seeing.
I think some people do it their way and they're fine. Like, oh yeah, my man and I, we went on a date, we talked for hours, we've been together ever since.
Yeah,
like,
it happens organically without intention sometimes. Yeah, and it does.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman who has been on a lot of dates, if you're a woman who has been ghosted over and over, if you're a woman who, after you sleep with a guy, he loses interest. If you're with a man who says he's not looking for anything, but you go out and try to catch a vibe and you go on day to day to day and you're not trying to figure out like why he's not doing this or why he's not doing that, and you're not clear on the status of your relationship, this is for you.
This is it. This is that lesson.
If your way works, why are you here? Right? Like,
why
are you asking the questions if it worked for you? There is no rebuttal to that because you're good, right? You're happy. You got what you wanted from that man, so you're good to go, right?
Supposedly, yeah, man.
If it's working for you, why are you here? Don't debate with me. It's working for you. Like, angry people don't argue. Happy people don't argue with people that are not happy.
For real. Yeah.
Why would I?
It takes away from your happiness.
I'm not, yeah.
I had no idea that I was going to get this much value from this topic. Like I said, this is the shift. And this is where your other value is. Because, like, for me, I just see the discipline the get shit done, the work ethic, the level of standard and expertise you get. That's the boss shit. But behind that is what do you come home to? You know what I'm saying? Because when you do all that shit, like, you got to come home to a mindset, a relationship, a family. Like, you come home to the real shit. And that's what I want, like, the audience to get is, like, from a female perspective, what is the shit you deal with? Because me, I always express the shit I deal with that isn't all glitz and glamour and the fun parts of being a boss. That's why I say it's a life of a boss. It's the good and bad.
Well, first of all, when it comes to, like, dating or being with someone, have never been with someone who was not supportive, right? Mm-hmm. Like, even when I look back on my relationships, I haven't been in a lot, but even the guys I've dated, if they had kids, they've been good fathers. I've never dealt with someone who's been a no good dad or an absent dad. Yeah. I've never really dated someone who, like, super mistreated me. Like, there's been communication issues, but like,
and people just didn't know how to treat you. Yeah.
Like, I've dated good guys, and that's not to, like, big ups myself, but that's to say, like, I was very choosy, very selective. Mm-hmm. And even though I've been through some stuff and I've been through ups and downs and everything hasn't worked out, like, people might say, oh, you're not married. Yeah. My goal was not to get married. So that's not a slight at me because I wasn't trying to get married.
That wasn't your intention.
That's not my intention. My intention was to be in a relationship where I was happy. Mm-hmm. So for me, I put that to the side well into my 40s. Mm-hmm. I put a relationship to the side well into my 40s. Mm-hmm. But the relationships that I tried to be in, I'm like, who was I in those relationships? What were my expectations? Like, who was I in that relationship? So I sit back and I do a lot of self-reflection. Mm-hmm. I read a lot. I see myself in the world, not how the world necessarily sees me. Like, I understand that's a reflection.
Yeah.
But
For real,
I had to really dive deep and spend that time working on me. So when I'm single or when I have downtime, I'm reading something like Michael Singer's book.
You're adding to your value.
Yeah, because that's important to me. Like, I know I don't know everything. And when I have some type of, like, I will say ailment or confusion, I look for the answer.
Yeah,
right?
You own it. And you can only do that by owning it.
Yeah. I'm the type of person who goes within. Like, some people, I'm gonna go out. I can't sit down. I can't sit there. I need to go out. I need to go have a drink. I need to go talk to like, I'm the kind of person who dejects. I will sit in my room. I will sit in my corner, right? I will sit back and be
You'll put yourself on timeout. You know what? To stop you right there, I think that's a very important point, because the people that go out, the people that got to call people over, I think that's a form of distraction.
Yeah.
You're distracting yourself from having to deal with your shit. And for those doing it or know somebody, I just hope they identify that that's what that is. Yeah. Because I think when you identify it, you can at least know when you're doing it and do it less.
Yeah.
Because some people are oblivious that they're doing it.
Yeah, like, and I think it also is easier for me because I don't recharge socially. So I'm already the type of person who doesn't.
Yeah, you can fall back and just fall back. Yeah.
Fall back is literally my defense mechanism. My coping is falling back. I will go take a nap. I will go sit down. I'll go read something. I'll go listen to a podcast.
You remove yourself, from whatever it is,
because I don't want to be a downer on other people, you know. And I think some of my friends have to understand that, like, oh, Jen's just doing what she does. Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
I just fall back.
Yeah. And you love the people that respect that and understand, and you
friends,
appreciate them more. And,
it's hard
and you don't
for
do
them,
it for anybody else.
but-
And I get this, man. I understand. I don't know if that's a tourist thing,
or
some boss shit, but that's really how it is. It's like I'm not being mean. Matter of fact, I know I'm not pleasant. My godmama used to say something. She used to say, "You're not fit for company." You know, and she didn't tell me that, but when I heard that, but that was the understanding of it. Like, damn, I'm not fit for company every day. You know, all the time. I'm not trying to say hi to the damn neighbor. I don't want that motherfucker to see me because I don't want to say hi. You know, and it's just little shit like that. Little shit, but it's not out of a bad place.
Yeah, no.
And those that respect it, I love. I love the fuck out of people that just respect me for being me. Because I'm not trying to hurt you. Don't look at me like I got to cater to you to not hurt you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think, like you said, you got to be that way in a relationship and at work. Like it's universal.
My best
it's so universal.
Were when guys were just like, let her do her thing. And I give guys that space too. Like, I'm not the type of woman who's gonna be like, what's going on? What's going on? You won't toss me. Oh my God. I'm so, like, I'm not anxious attached. Like, I'm not anxiously like, what's going on? Like,
what's in their head?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Do you like me?
No. And like, when I like somebody, of course,
she loves
I
me
think
not.
about
Yeah,
it. Like, of course I think about it. Because when I like you, I'm like, oh my God, I like you so much. Like, I'm still a girl, right?
Yeah.
But I can control that emotion.
You check it. You just understand it.
Yeah, because I'm not in control of it anyway.
What would you tell your 20-year-old self, your 18-year-old self?
That's a good question.
Now, not the list of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the synopsis. Not even 3 words. You know, like a paragraph. Like what was the lesson? Like you said, out of all these years. Because one thing that, just like you, I'm learning my best lessons more recently. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the shit right now. You know what I'm saying? If you got me right now, you got the best version of me. And that's how I feel. But back in the days when I wasn't the shit I thought I was, what did I need to know? You know, what would have reached me? So what would reach you back in the days who wouldn't even listen to the shit you talking about now? You know, don't date. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
I know, right? And again, I regret nothing. But I would definitely say advocacy. Like, advocate for yourself.
Wow.
And the reason why I would say advocacy is because I'm a very, like, I fall back. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I think the best of people, like, I don't know why someone would want someone else to be unhappy. Like, I think it's weird when someone tries to hurt someone they were with.
Yeah.
Or hurt an ex, or hurt someone that they're with because they're upset. Like, I never was like spiteful, really, or
not
vindictive.
Yeah.
I was just like, so like, oh, I just want to, get along
and just wish them well and move on. Yeah.
And at work, like, I've had terrible bosses, and I would never report them to HR, or I would never like do anything. And I'm just like, okay, like, it is what it is. Like, I was just so reluctant to make a fuss. I thought
you didn't,
was a fuss.
and you didn't, I guess, try to get conflict. You didn't want conflict.
No conflict.
You didn't. Yeah.
I don't like any conflict. It makes me so uncomfortable. Even today, like, I can handle it better than I probably used to. But like,
you're hitting head on nowadays.
Head on is a dramatization. I wouldn't.
It's
say,
relative to the issue.
It really depends on what it is. But even through like, I'm in therapy twice a month. I play no games. Like, I am not pretending to be something and be all together.
Let me stop you right there, because that's one thing I wanted to touch on, but I didn't know how we got so far in one end, because it got deep and it got real, and that's exactly what I wanted, but didn't know that I wanted. Because that's exactly why you're here. Like, what is that bullshit from that perspective, and to hear you articulate some of the game from your perspective, like, that's it. I would have never said it like that, and if I'd have said it, it might have been mean. You know what I'm saying? Because it wouldn't have been put like that. You know what I'm saying? And because, like you said, I'm seeing somebody that, like, might want to go on the date, want to do all this, but me, like, I think something wrong with me because I want to run some errands. It's not just my errands. What do you got to do today? Let's run our errands, and then at the end of the day, we'll have a meal or something. But that was my idea of preparing myself to be with somebody.
Yeah, because my best friend said it perfectly, and he said it. I had never heard it this way, but like the beauty of the relationship, the minutia is in the daily money.
Okay. Say that with minutia.
The minutia.
Minutia. We got that shit gonna flash on the screen or something. Yeah, we go. Yeah, minutia.
I don't know what the minutia is.
Okay, tell me what is minutia. What is the minutia? The minutia.
When you get down to the nitty gritty, the minutia. Everyday random stuff. You have to get along with the mundane. It is your daily routine. It is who you are as a person. It is not a steak at Steak 48.
Man.
Dumbass flowers. It is what does he do on a regular basis that aligns with what you do on a regular basis. And does that align? Like, I love when a man talks to me and understands, like, hey, you're out of alignment.
Yeah. You're not even being you.
You're not like, bring me back.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm noticing it. Like, your energy is changing. Are you good? Like, what can I do? Okay, maybe there's not something I could say, but it's something I can energetically do to move your heart. It's not stakes.
Yeah.
It is not.
That's the
dinner.
last answer.
Dude, when you're with somebody, you got all day to go on a date. Y'all don't go on dates every day. Maybe once a week, twice a month.
That's
not important.
Yeah.
Who that person is that you're going to lay down next to and be comfortable with. And be like, oh, he's falling asleep. Let me scratch his back. Till he falls asleep. Oh, wait. Okay, his okay. Something's changing. Like, you're not in tune with that person.
Yeah.
You gotta be in tune. Like, you need to know that person.
Yeah.
You need to be able to run errands with that person. You gotta know what this person. Like, you need to know this person.
Yeah.
And if that is not your initiative moving forward, if that man can't lead you, if he can't check you, if he can't say, hey babe, I'm gonna go do this, and you can't say okay. If you don't respect that man.
Question right off top. How, from your perspective, for women, how should a woman express her interest in a man that she's kind of watching, looking, or is she even supposed to? Because sometimes, like, a brother might be clueless, he might be so into what he's doing, he might be shy, he might be all kind of shit, but the wave is there if they connect.
Yeah.
And is there ever a right time for a woman to express her interest, and how? And I mean a boss woman, a woman who's confident, who's you know what I'm saying, who not somebody who's just trying to get some attention, but like a real quality person. Like,
I think women, if you're in your divine femininity, it's very natural for you to understand what your man or the man you're interested in likes. So if you're paying attention to him and you understand what his, like, I know people hate this term, like love language is, or like what he appreciates. And then he's like, oh, like she's into me, like she's paying attention to me. And here's the beautiful thing. I hear a lot of women say,
should she be into the same stuff?
No,
or
it doesn't
just
have
know
to be
what?
the same
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
It
doesn't have to match. You don't have to. Okay,
No.
okay, good.
Yeah.
You know,
like the guy that I was dating and have been dating or whatever, like edit that part out because I don't know how to say that because I'm very private, but
yeah.
I know what he likes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to ask me to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you know him.
Yeah. And I think that does come with time, but I think that people give you signs early on. And here's what I've learned about that whole dynamic, right? Because you'll hear a lot of women say, well, what about me? What about what I like? How come, what is he not motivating me towards? Or what is he doing? You picked him.
Yeah. It's supposed to be constant.
So
I think it's supposed to be constant.
Well, if you pick a guy who doesn't do what you like, and then spend the rest of your life trying to get him to do what you like, you failed yourself.
Yeah, I believe so.
So,
yeah.
Again, you have to be secure in yourself as a woman, as a feminine, divine woman, and then pick someone who aligns with that. There is no forcing of that.
Yeah.
This guy that I didn't have to teach him anything. I didn't have to tell him what to do.
Did you guys meet doing what you do naturally? Obviously, you didn't meet in the club.
No,
you know what I'm
we did
saying?
not meet in a club.
Because I want to also kind of hint on where you might find somebody for you. I always say you go all in on what you do, you'll find the people that are all in on what they do, and then that's when you collide with.
Well, the last relationship I was in years ago, it was very like, oh yeah, we went on a date. It was whatever. Like we hung out a few times. But here's what he did that was different from some of the relationships I have been in the past.
In a good way or bad way?
Good way.
Okay.
He told me right up front. He was like, I want to be in a relationship with you. First of all. He learned me. He did everything for me. I couldn't think of something without him doing it. He was into me. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He did that.
Anticipation of needs and
And I could be like, and he'd be like, let's talk about it.
As soon as, huh?
Yeah. He was always available emotionally. He respected me. He had a child by another woman. Never let that get messy. Ever. He was a very involved father. He had his boundaries on what he would do. He took his time before I met her, his daughter. He did everything very intentional. He knew what he wanted. He didn't back down from what he wanted. He never pretended to be something that he was not. And he was available emotionally. And I just remember him being very himself.
And you look at all those like
this was 10 years ago.
But were these qualities to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I'm recognizing them later because the people will say, "Well, then why ain't that your man now?" Right? I was
you didn't see all those as qualities then.
But I understood that was the difference between like, if that's where you are, we were out of alignment back then, right?
Yeah.
So back then I was like, oh, I'm not really sure I want this. Like when we were even together, I would ask him like, hey, I need an out. Like, are you cool with me having an out? Because like, I didn't even want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
And
he knew you.
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
But he dealt with me so delicately
and correctly.
And he was just a good guy all the way around. Like honestly, people are like, well, why aren't you in it now? I'm talking 10 years ago, y'all.
Yeah,
so I was a different person. But looking back, I was like, damn, if we would have met later in life, like I think I would understand. And I was like, he was like, you were a very, like I let him be himself. Like I never had to like wrangle him into anything or make him do anything. Like it was a very easy
natural
relationship.
And
my only issue was like I didn't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, no, you let me lead. He was like, you followed my lead. He was like, even though I wasn't a great leader back then, like you were a very good girlfriend. And I would defend him and I'd be like, no, I'm gonna stick beside him. Before that was a thing.
Yeah.
I just wasn't really ready for that at the time. But I can recognize the beauty in how he moved. And I literally told him till this day, I was like, you really set the bar for who I would allow to be in my life moving forward. Like I know we didn't work out. It was a great experience, but you really set the bar for that.
How important is it for women to reflect and see where they were wrong? Because I think that it's almost natural to be like, okay, you're doing right now. You don't even want to think about the person you used to be. For some folks, me, I can't. It's all one and the same. Whoever I was is still who I am. It's just evolved. But like some people, they just don't want to acknowledge. Like they say, I got it now. I got it now.
Accountability.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah, you have to take accountability. Like I was the reason that relationship didn't work out. And even to this day, if I called him right now, he'd be like, oh yeah, like I'm like, what'd you think? He would be like, you know what? I just think we were in different places. Like you weren't wrong, I wasn't wrong. I allowed things to happen.
You still be in agreement. Yeah, because it would both be honest assessments of what happened. Yeah.
Like I can admit that like I just wasn't ready for that type of relationship. I can just admit that.
Now, okay, we're gonna wrap it up.
We are?
Yeah, man, like I said, I'm looking at stuff like, man, hey, I'm not Shannon Sharp, man. This shit don't be running for 3 hours, man. Yeah. But we could. Okay, but that's why I say we're not stopping right now. We're not stopping right now. When I wanted to ask, because
I'm messing with you.
We talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I wanted to touch on because we touched on it last time.
Okay.
And it's very important. But to everyone, I guess we can start here. To everyone to be like, she crazy. You know, for real. Because I would think that anybody who doesn't understand what I'm saying needs some help. to a certain degree. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I'm saying if you don't at least understand me as clearly as I can try to articulate myself and really explain myself, if you don't understand me, then there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So for those that don't understand you, that just, I don't get what she's talking about. Like, what would you say to them? Like where would they? Damn.
Read. I'm not this way by happenstance. Like, I understand energy. I understand alignment. I understand who I am in this world and how I show up. And it's intentional and it's purposeful. And I spend my time making sure that I am true to myself and in alignment with who I am and who I want to be on this earth. Anyone in my circle, anyone in my orbit is in alignment with that.
Mm-hmm. And that all comes from books.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. And I have the best therapist. Like, I will brag about my therapist all day. Like, there was a time where I was like, I love my therapist. He is the best.
It's a man too.
Yeah. And I went through and I checked. I saw like 3 or 4 different therapists, and I was like, I don't want. Here's why I love my therapist. I'll be the first. I'll tell you exactly why. I love my therapist because he does not tell me what to do. He's not prescriptive. He does not tell me, hey, you should do this or do that. He challenges me. He makes me think different. He goes through scenarios and gets me to understand, like, why I might think this way, why I might be this way, why these things might be happening. And it triggers thought. And I'm coachable and teachable enough to take that information back and reflect within myself and say, you know what? Yeah, it might have took a year, it might have took some time, but even he'll say, like, I'm so glad you said that, because remember we talked about that. And I'm like, oh yeah. So it's even more beneficial because I've been with him for probably 6-7 years. Wow. This was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So he actually knows my story, which is such a blessing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't spend time in my therapy sessions talking about men, talking about relationships. I spent my time in therapy talking about me.
Look at you.
Why am I responding that way? Why do I think that way? Why am I even approaching it that way? And it wasn't until like maybe a year ago where I even talked to he probably didn't even know I was in one because I never talked about it.
Yeah.
I was like, why do I have so much anxiety around this? And he literally unpacked it bit by bit and was patient with me and took the time, and little by little by little, and then it became a big thing, a big understanding of like who I am. And I was like, oh, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
Another reason why I think I did so well in therapy was because I was very intrigued by the human, like our human position. Like, why do we do things like that?
Okay.
So I started studying
like psychology.
Neuroscience.
Yeah.
Why are we wired to do certain things? Like, how do certain things work? So I spent a lot of time listening to the science behind things. And then I started listening to a lot of the things, a lot of work on the law of attraction, for example.
Yeah.
And so I started reading books about psychocybernetics, which go look it up. Like, I was intrigued with the human disposition. I think that's the word I was looking for. Like, I was just intrigued with the way things worked, the science behind things, because I just had this feeling like, if you understand if you understand who you are as a person, if you understand like why you do things, you feel less crazy. Yeah. Because that is a normal knee-jerk reaction.
You're just trying to put some math to it. Yeah. Like some cold-hard facts. Like, it's not just emotions. It's not. No. I'm not just going like something is based on something. Yeah. Well, that's an awesome ass perspective, but I think that's rare. You know, I mean, seriously, not everybody does that. Not everybody reads.
We're just saying, look within. Yeah. Because they're scared what they're gonna find.
Man,
and guess what? I cried. Yeah. I sat in a corner one time and cried. I was like, oh my God, this is all my fault. It's a good exercise. Yeah. To blame yourself.
Man, yeah.
It is a great exercise to sit down and blame yourself, because then you can get back in the driver's seat in your life. Then you can be intentional.
You can take control. You can take control.
Yeah. You don't have a control of a lot. Your thoughts are the only thing you really have control over.
And I think that one, because reading is great, but the only problem with reading is that not everybody does it. Yeah. You know, and it's almost like if you were the type of person to read, you'd be successful.
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
I got tequila all over.
Oh no, you good. You're not driving right now.
No.
But like I said, I wanted that quick answer, and beyond reading, I think one that everybody can do, because even like some people, I'm not saying you have to read to be successful.
Go to podcasts.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, even beyond that, like to reduce that, to simplify it, it's self-reflection. It's looking inward. I think that's the ultimate answer to that first step of creating success. That's that first challenge. Because I think so many people that aren't successful, and I don't mean financially or whatever, because some people be in a great marriage, but they're still not successful. They're not happy. Some people have all the money in the world. They're not happy. They don't live the life they want. Whatever it is, I think
that was a turning point for me too.
And I think it starts with looking inward. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know yourself, nothing else, you're not gonna understand everything else.
I mean, if you don't blame yourself, right?
Yeah.
I know it's like a hard pill to swallow, and it sounds.
It's owning your shit.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what really got me to a point where I could blame myself, right? Mm-hmm. Quote unquote. Whatever that looks like for you. But the reason why I think it's so important to blame yourself or to say you're accountable is because, again, that puts you back in the driver's seat. And if you blame, what happened? Oh my God. Dang, you should have said something a long time ago. Oh my God. The way he jumped up, y'all. I don't know if this is. I'm gonna just talk to the people on my IG, because I'm sure this is not supposed to be a shot, but talk to me, y'all. We on a little intermission. How do y'all think I'm doing? Let me look at some of the comments. Dave. Yep, I knew it. So why aren't you two together? I was a very different person back then. Me and my past relationships. Oh my God. Great points, Jen. Thank you. I'm probably late. Some of these people still aren't even on, because I never really go live. So let's see. Who else is here? Who's still with me? Because I can't even tell. Hi. I broke the fourth wall. Tell me what that means. I have no idea what that means. And you saw that? Did you see him run up out of here? Hi. Where can we send you merch? You want to send me merch? I don't know. Hit my DMs. See, man can go to the bathroom so fast. I hate y'all. Are we? Is it live, or are you gonna edit it?
No, that was a small break. We good.
Oh, okay.
It's not live though.
It's not live,
but it's being cut and everything.
Okay, cool. So you can just
already. Yeah, no, we still going. Like, yeah, jump right back in. Yeah, that was the first, y'all. Like I said, I don't like to.
Thank you, Shannon. The book was called The Surrender Experiment. Thank you.
You found it?
Yeah, my bestie Shannon told me just now in my comments.
What's it called?
The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. I love that book. That book was great. I listened to it in like 3 days.
Audiobooks. If you don't like to read, audiobooks. But the point is that, like, I don't know where you went while I was gone, but is that knowing thyself, self-reflection? I think that's the answer. Yeah. And when you can own your shit and blame yourself, and to me it came down to like what I do now. I don't always do it. Well, I didn't always do it. I never did it. But now it's like I try to find what role I played in whatever situation I got myself in. Good, bad, indifferent.
Doesn't matter.
What did I do? I shouldn't have picked up that motherfucking phone. You know, I mean, I say shit like that sometimes to myself, like, damn, like, even if that's all I did, I'm going to own that. Like, I should have been focused on what I'm doing. There was a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that is like what you said, is the superpower. Because self-control is the superpower. Discipline, going through a process, not even thinking about the end, knowing I got to do this today. And that's the superpower.
If it's always your fault, then you're always in control of it.
You're always in.
There is no better way to like not. To me, I've learned that a long time ago. I just never blame anybody else.
Yeah, I always looked at it like you're powerless. If you blame somebody, then wow, then that stopped you. That person not coming to pick you up is the reason why you didn't have this career or that job or that opportunity. Like, I think about that, and I guess the whole point is like, I know the people that think like me are going to be okay. I know the people that think like you are going to be okay. They might take a little longer, like depending on your circumstance. So we try to help them.
Yeah.
Like, so it don't take you 5, 10, 15, 20 years to figure out what it took me 5, 10, 15, 20 years to learn. But I really try to help those who have no fucking clue, the oblivious. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that they can die being the way they were brought into this world, oblivious. And that's, you don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? And what you said about being accountable, it's just understanding you have the power to change, to be, to create whatever life you want. Yep. Are you living your definition of success right now?
Yeah.
I see
it changed over time. I'm not going to lie, but it's not that it's not challenging.
Yeah.
It's not like there are more things that I want to do. And there are some areas where I'm just like, dang, like you have a job, you're cool, but like, Dad, I kind of still want something for myself. I want to be able to, if I really wanted to say, you know what, F this job. Like I still want FU money. There's still levels to it.
Yeah.
While I did catapult my career, while I did do a really good job, because here's the thing. My best friend always would say, if you chop at a tree long enough, it's going to fall over.
Yeah.
It is going to fall over. And I chopped at the career tree for years. My trajectory was to be successful in my career. That was what I wanted. Very young. I wanted to be self-sufficient. I wanted to be able to have whatever I wanted to do by my own means.
Yeah. And you're there.
And that I'm there.
Yeah.
Is it challenging? Yes. Is my boss sometimes like
yeah.
Like, do I want to, and that made me, but here's the thing. I recognized that was trying to push me into something else. That allowed me to say, I'm not going to be scared to do this podcast because
just
that's
being frustrated,
I am going to do these things. Like I had to. Sometimes you got to hit that wall a few times. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say that I did everything right. Sometimes I had to hit that brick wall a few times to say, like, no, if you want something different, you got to do something different.
Oh my God,
right?
I just said that.
So it's been challenging, but from a perspective of the tree that I chopped at, and I was at a company where I felt I was undervalued. I still moved up a little bit. I doubled my salary once. I got out of there, doubled it again. I did that. I'm not gonna undermine the fact or underestimate or be too humble about the fact
about what you did.
I did do that.
Yeah.
Yes. So from that perspective, yes. The next level for me is, again, we're expansive human beings. We're always going to want more. It's what motivates us to go get. We're not hunting anymore, right? Like we don't have to go hunt for our food. But that is still
something has to be there.
We want more.
And
that, I had to let that not bother me. Like I had to let that not be a crutch. Like that was not a handicap for me to want more because I'm like, dang, it's never enough. I just want to get to a point where I don't want anything else. And it's like, that is not who you are at your core. You're not built to be okay.
You're not built to be satisfied.
Otherwise, you would only eat one meal.
Exactly. The same thing every day.
You wouldn't have the same thing every. You wouldn't.
Just nutrients. It wouldn't even be a meal. It'd be nutrients.
Yeah.
A bar.
I had to get okay, or I had to be okay and learn to be okay with the fact that like I'm not gonna just get in one place, and that was the start of my depression. When I was like about 30, where I was just like, wait a minute. I went to school. I got a good job. I pay my own bills.
Why am I not happy?
Yeah. Yep.
And
because I'm an expansive human being, I am going to want more, and that is okay.
And you know what I love about your podcast is that it does take you out of where you're comfortable at, like in that tech world. It's math to you, and if you know the answer, can't nobody say shit. You can't even heckle you. Yeah, you can't even be heckled. Like here, you can say the realest shit. Motherfuckers just talk shit.
Oh my God,
still.
I'm a pick me. I didn't even know what that was until I was a podcaster.
But the point is that this is ever challenging while you're ever expansive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll never just own this shit. Like golf. You'll never just, I'm just great today and stay great.
Yeah.
You know, you got to come bring it
moving.
every stroke, and you bring it every stroke. And the cool thing is that fits you. That fits the whole boss mindset. It's like there is no I'm here yet. As long as I'm still alive, as long as I still have a pulse, we're not done. Nope. I could have got everything on this list. It's like at the end of the day, you did everything on this list. Okay, but I'm still here. We're going to celebrate. We're going to do something because I'm still here.
Yeah. It was hard, though. It's not as satisfying as I thought it would be. And that's okay. I think when I realized that, like, that's not what's satisfactory about it. Mm-hmm. And be with
the money and the career and the
more experience. Yeah. I mean, I do. I get whatever I want. I want for nothing. I am so
and I can attest to that.
And I built that.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Absolutely.
Like, honestly, I'm not even trying to brag. Like, my parents didn't even get me student loans.
Yeah.
Like, my parents did not contribute to my situation at all.
Yeah.
And that's not to slight them, but it's just to say that, like, I did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that's why I was so heavy on I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're not.
But you're not. You're still here.
So that was a hard realization. But I think once I started to understand that, and again, that was through reading and that was through owning that. And that's why I say advocacy is such a big thing for me now. It's been my word of the year for probably the past 2 years. Advocacy. Like, you cannot be afraid to stand up for yourself. You cannot be afraid to say no.
You
cannot be afraid to say that does not work for me. You cannot be afraid to do what is best for you. And that I think I was able to move into that because I was already kind of like not an extremely emotional person anyway. Like, I was very practical and pragmatic. Like, I very much like tried to deal in logic and non-emotional because, like, if you can make sense.
That's right up your alley. Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
Because it works. You know, math works.
It's easier for me. It's easier for me to just say, what? Like, hit me with the high note. Like, what is the math behind this? Again, what is the science behind this? I was so intrigued by
What are you telling me? What are you telling me? Yeah, I'm so like that. Yeah.
So if it makes sense, like, I can't deny fact. I can't deny what makes sense. I can't deny what is already proven.
Yeah.
But I'm also inquisitive. Like, why?
Like, why does it work?
Why does it work that way? Why does it do that? So I think that allows me to be open-minded enough to say, like, okay, I can follow that to a point. If that doesn't make sense, I can't follow it anymore. If you're willing to make it make sense for me, I'm there with you. Like, that's my only, honestly, the one thing that unnerves me is, like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like,
right? Like, that.
You have no understanding.
That's where I could get
the disconnected.
Like,
the disconnection.
That's where I can kind of get, like, I can get a little messed up because I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, make it make sense.
Yeah.
So
try to make it make sense.
So I think I had to learn again, like, okay, be open-minded. If you want to go in that direction, search it out. But that taught me a lot about who I was as a person and being okay with who I was as a person and leaning into that. And okay with being wrong, okay with starting over, okay with doing it here, not doing it there, and being like, oh, okay, let me adjust. Let me get to a point where I can, learn.
Yeah.
And my desire to learn, my inquisitiveness, my okay with not being right, my okay with not knowing everything helps me to say, like, oh, I'm gonna pick up this book, or I'm gonna listen to this podcast, and oh snap, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And not close off to anything.
Yeah. You mentioned leaning in.
Yeah.
How do you plan to lean into this whole relationship space, this whole content creation space? Because I see it working for you, and I see it being yours. Whatever you create out this game, this part of it, you're going to own. Whether it be books, whether it be podcasts, whether it be guides, whether it be videos, whether it be whatever it is, it's you. It's all Jennifer Gibbs. It's not the corporation owned by this. You was working here, so they own you. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So how do you plan, if any, to lean into this? Because this is obviously, to me, I'm happier than I've ever been for you, because I see what it's doing for you. And I see that you can own it, and I see that it is you. You're not faking it. This is like who you've always been. It's just now unleashed, and now you have the game, the wisdom, the articulation, and you can, and even the format and the platform to even speak it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of it, and I love that whatever you get out this game is all you and all yours. What are you going to do with it? What's next?
Allow it. I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to surrender, right? I think that's
you're going to say yes. Just like if you want to do a podcast with you, that's why you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like
that alignment
that and having that perspective of knowing what has and has not worked in the past and what I've expanded myself to, and the things that like I would be so cut off to for fear.
Yeah.
And like
you see it. You see look at you, man. Like I said, totally different person, and like no less successful. On my camera right now. No less successful, monetary wise, money wise, financially, no less successful, but so much richer today because of all that extra shit. That it's just you. I always tell people like the biggest gold mine you're gonna find is you. You got to start digging deep and dig until you find it. And that's what comes back to what you said. You start blaming yourself, start looking accountability, taking accountability. Like you'll start digging. Yeah. When you start finding out what the fuck is wrong with you and why, that's digging. Yeah. And when you start finding out why and changing why and understanding why, then you're growing. And now it becomes your superpower. And now it becomes shit that you can speak on. Because one thing that I love about your podcast, like everything else you are is now available to people. All the other ways you can help people are now out there that would have been totally shut off if you didn't allow yourself to take advantage of this. Yeah. And you do it so well and you enjoy it. You light up when you know what I'm saying? It's a totally different interview from your brother. You know, he's super technical. Yeah. He's like you last time, even more so. Yeah. Frank Gibbs.
Yeah, my brother.
Genius though. Nothing. He doesn't waste words.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And he's just like very technical. Yeah. Very technical. Yeah. He does the math. He counts how many words his response requires and doesn't go over.
I'm partially here because of his, because I listened to him. Again, like I have a good circle. My brother, my best friend, my father. Like I have a good circle of people that I listen to.
Yeah. Would you suggest leaning into your circle? Like for all, meaning for the folks that have that supportive family, because I know a lot of like.
Some people don't.
To me, I never had that family like that. So I seen it in a lot of other people, and I'm like, damn, you don't see what your family had. They have a house. They have, they all go on vacations. You guys are together. Your mom, your dad, every night. Like, there's things you can do that I couldn't even imagine. Like. Being able to do it at that age or just even now if I had them. So like,
yeah.
What do you suggest?
I'm so lucky. Yeah. I mean, again, I wanted to say one thing too is once you start digging, definitely be ready for what you might find.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I wanted to make sure I said that because it can be dark.
Yeah.
It can
be scary.
Yeah, it can be scary. You might cry, and maybe you'll do it with a therapist. Maybe you'll do it alone. Maybe you'll do it with someone you trust. But
yeah.
If you're not taking accountability, if you find yourself blaming and complaining other people, then you may not be ready to have that realness with yourself. But if you're ready to say, yep, that was my fault, that relationship was my fault, me not getting that job was my fault, me not showing up in the way that I think I should have showed up is my fault. If you're not ready to make everything your fault, then don't dig.
It's not going to help you.
Stay in your oblivion. I don't know. Be oblivious. I don't know. But for me, I didn't know I was ready, but I was definitely ready.
Yeah,
and I cried through some of it. I was mad at myself.
You went through the motions anyway. Yeah,
and I went through the motions.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have people in my life that were not afraid to tell me about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at a place in my life where I was willing to accept it.
I love it.
And
there's a lot of folks who keep people around just to laugh at their jokes. Serious. They just yes men. They just want yes people around them.
Yeah, I definitely don't like that. Tell me what it is. Tell me what I don't want to hear.
Let me know I stink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If I got something in my teeth,
man,
if I'm gaining a little weight,
them is the people that love you.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thoughts. All about the podcast. Where do you catch the podcast? Oh yeah, man. Yeah. She said it's just halftime.
I could go all day.
Man, and you can't. And you know what? We don't have to end this right now. But the podcast, where's it at? Who's on it with you?
Yes.
what do you talk about? Because it's all relationship. Is it all relationship? Yeah, man.
We've talked about mental health and other things too. Definitely relationships is one of the bigger pillars lately. I definitely think it's time for us, and obviously I need to talk to this to my people as a group, but like I definitely think it's relationships are such a, like, everyone's dealing with that, right?
Everyone,
so I think
no matter where you're at in life.
Yeah, I think
who you are, what your orientation is.
You are in some sort of a relationship. It's very important to people. But I think for me, even on the side, I've been kind of toiling back and forth with like whether I should provide some type of like career services or some type of, help people with their resumes or something. Like I haven't fully done that. I haven't worked out in a while, but I definitely want to get back into that and just kind of share what I do. Like I had really bad acne. I've cleared my face up. Like I'm not, not like that, but I'm not wearing makeup right now.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Yeah.
I've been through a lot, and I think there is an avenue of me sharing more of that
on your podcast
in general.
And that's why I think I love your podcast because everything you do to get money is the result of everything you overcame outside of that. And I think when you do the podcast, this is the shit that people need to. This is what people learn from. Like nobody's trying to be a programmer like you. That's not everybody's shit, but everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be a boss. If you wasn't a boss, you wouldn't be here. I mean, I wouldn't see the value in here. But the cool thing about you being you, everything you say is something that, like, is valuable to people. Like everything you've been through, everything you go through, and that's why I love your podcast because, like, now you have a platform to say all the things that make you successful, and it's usually shit that people think that only unsuccessful people going through. Divorce, breakups, insecurities, all those ailments that we have, like mental health issues. People don't see that on successful people. Like you don't wear that shit when you're out there doing you. But you handled it, you dealt with it, and you owned it. Yeah. And I think that's the importance of having a platform like this, like yours, to give, especially you being who you are, a success. Someone that I would look up to, someone that I would want my daughter, people in my family to want to aspire to be like and mimic your good habits and all that. So it's like you saying all that stuff is important. Somebody who got it the ratchet way saying how they get like, man, okay, I don't want them to be where you at now. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I'm like, dang, if I would have grew up in this age, I would be an influencer, no doubt.
Man, but you are, but now it's a good influence.
I didn't catch on the way that it would have been a different life. Like,
well, I'm glad we didn't have this technology because some of it I knew I would have made money.
Yeah.
But yeah. How these young, I mean, I guess it's the same. Like, these youngsters don't know what to fucking do with the shit either.
They probably make it more than me, though.
But,
I'm not gonna
but some of them are getting money. Like, they have that option. But the point is, it's like, I always say, what are you going to do? Like, it always comes down to the actions you're going to take, the decisions you make. And with mental health, with everything, you have to change your mind. And that's what, to even look inwards, you got to change your mind. Whatever you used to say, like, no. One day you just got to say yes. I'm going to reflect. Or yes, I'm going to go talk to somebody. It's like something has to change.
Yeah, don't be ashamed to get help. I can sit on the phone with Mom for 2 hours and cry. She will talk me through it. My brother will talk me through it. My best friends will talk me through it. Like, I'm very introverted in that way, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm using the exact words, but like I definitely deject and go internal. And like we talked about earlier, like I am not normally like someone who wants to impose myself.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. But I do have a circle where I know I can do that.
I got a question. Yeah. How do you pick and choose who you look weak to? Because I know, like, and that's a boss question. Because I know there's a lot of people who are usually in control, who got everything together, and they're not usually the person that goes to people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody comes to them. So who do you like? Because to me, personally, like my thing, I can't be weak to everybody. I'm just gonna say it. I can't let my hair down or whatever to anybody, to just anybody. Like I'm on to a certain degree. But if I'm like talking about my weaknesses and my vulnerabilities and everything and the bad day I had and all the negative, like that's very few people I can go to with that, to see that dark side of me. Because like everything I'm thinking, like I have a whole positive podcast, but this might be a bunch of negative shit I'm going through and thinking about to get me here to say the positive parts. You know what I'm saying? So, but I have to sometimes hash that out with somebody. Who do you hash that like, who do you pick and choose? Who you show the crying Jennifer, the I don't know, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't say that to everybody. You know what I mean?
No, it's
Seriously.
definitely my inner circle. I definitely would say that it would be like my best friends, my brother, my mom, sometimes my dad.
But
my dad is the person I can
decide
sit in silence with. So I would say it's really dependent upon like the energy that I get, right? Like obviously if someone's going through something, I'm not going to dump on them.
Yeah.
But obviously if I feel vulnerable, then like, again, there is literally only like one or two people that like I would go to. But I think it's just an energy thing. And obviously they're in my circle because I trust them and they're my friends.
Still, like that's your filter already. So you can almost be yourself to anybody in your circle.
My mom, so for my mom and my dad, they're very different in the way that we handle things. I would not cry to my dad, but I would cry to my mom. But what I love about my dad is he's like the neutralizer, right? Yeah. Like my dad is someone I can sit in silence with. My dad is someone I could just go, oh, that's interesting on TV, and then like we could just sit there and watch TV, and I could be a mess and
still be connected.
He won't even be like. But if I was like, oh my God, I'm not okay, he'll talk to me, right? But I don't go to him for that. I go to my dad to like sit there.
To be with him. That time together is time together.
Yeah, just to be with him.
Yeah, for real. I get it.
We don't really talk about a whole lot. We're just like, my dad is like,
that's bonding.
I think I get it from him. Like he's very just like, he'll never tell you something's wrong. Yeah. But my mom, I'll cry my eyes out too. She'll talk to me. She'll get me back on my stuff.
She'll baby you. Yeah.
My brother is who I go to if I want to hear the truth.
Man, I can believe it.
My best friend, Six, on the show, if I want to hear the truth. Shannon, if I want to hear the truth. My sister, Corinne, if I want to hear the truth. There's a handful of people, like, if I'm just, like, ready to hear it, then these are the people that I go to. Like, my girl, Christina, she's very much like, she's the one who's like, girl, what? Like, she'll make me laugh about it. Like, oh, that's crazy. What is wrong with that person? Like, I got my good folks, right? And they all serve their purpose. But for the most part, I obviously surround myself with people who will tell me the truth.
I love it. Yeah, and I was about to say that because everything you said is like people telling you the truth.
Tell me the truth.
Don't be afraid. Just like you said, exactly. How else would you know? Because if you are the problem, you don't always see it. Like, that's the problem. Somebody got to be saying, like, hold on, repeat yourself. What did you just say?
If it's me, it's me.
You have to like really slow down, and it's that perspective. Yeah. And I think that's so important. It's just like being able to, I guess, as you get older, be able to see through every perspective, not just your own and not just the one that's correct.
Yeah, I'm okay with not being right. Yeah, that's where you gotta really humble yourself because it's not about being right. It's about being correct.
Ooh.
What's correct is correct.
Yeah,
it don't have nothing to do with me. What is true is true.
Yeah, whatever that math leading up to, that's what the answer is.
I can be distinctive enough to be like, dude, am I tripping? I'm like, yeah, you might want to go back and rethink that or apologize. Like, I am so okay with being wrong. You have no idea how much I would love and value being wrong.
Yeah. I always feel like sometimes I'm right too much is scary. Like, I hate being right all the time. Because you see the bullshit. Yeah. And it's like, I hate being right on calling somebody on their shit or being like, this motherfucker gonna do, and they end up doing it. Like, damn, I was right.
You know what? I think I know why. There's an element, and I don't know if this is just being a Taurus, because a lot of people say, like, Taurus always think they right. Taurus always stubborn and da-da-da-da. But we don't say anything for the sake of saying it.
Man.
We do our investigative work. We research. We have found the answer. And we're coming from a place that it is vetted. Yeah. We do not say things for the sake of saying them. We don't say whatever. We would rather be quiet. But if we're saying something,
it's a reason.
It's because we know.
It's a reason.
Right? So I think that's why people think we always think we're right. But I've known for a lot of Tauruses that I've known and grown to love is that we just do that investigate. Like, we're saying it from a place of knowing. We're not saying
we're only saying what we know.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that, like, I just don't say anything just for the sake of saying it. And if I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, well, show me. Where'd you get that from? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and some people have this, like
you say, I don't mind being proven wrong. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I don't mind somebody being wrong and being able to understand where they're wrong. Like, cool thing about, I'm going to say my wife. My wife is the first person I've been with who I don't want to say self-corrects, but my wife is the first person I've been with who could admit when she's wrong and never do it again, or just own that shit. And it's like,
that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's crazy because I come from a place of very toxic relationships. And not all, and some of the times I was toxic in that relationship. So there was a lot of mismatch in values and shit, but the constant was the misunderstandings. The constant was the negativity and the toxic part. So being with somebody who knows how to say sorry. You know what I'm saying? Being with somebody who I can actually convince my wife she's wrong. Oh my God. I ain't never won an argument ever in life. I don't give a fuck. I don't care how right I've been. I've never won an argument with any woman ever in my life. No matter how wrong they was, until I got married and I won like she listened to the facts. She made a ruling, and the ruling was that she was wrong, and I had to take that because you know how you just be ready for that next round.
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh my God, oh my God, and like I said, she had to. That teaches me what was toxic about me from my upbringing, all the rough, calloused areas about me. Like I'm so defensive and ready to go to war off some shit that should be no problem, and with her, it's just no problem, like the way it should be, and I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
It is, and it's funny to even say that, and that's why.
I'm sure men are like, wait, hold on, give me the recipe.
And you know what? I would say that my wife is the first person that I would ask her, "What do you think I should do?" I value very few people. Even when I value them, I never ask them that. Because, first of all, that would mean that I don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to expose that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing to just anybody.
And I understand that that's hard for a man. See, here's the thing. Women are so caught up on what they think a man should be doing for them that they forget what they need to bring to that man. And I am so much more understanding of who I am as a woman that I am not insecure in a way that emotionality that men can't necessarily bring to you, or maybe they don't normally bring to you, that becomes a blocker to you being what they
who you need to be. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like there's just this, it's so nuanced, but I hope I'm saying that in a way that it's understood.
It's serious. No, you're very good because I've never heard it articulated before.
Okay.
So it's the first time I'm hearing you. You're doing a great job.
If you're insecure, you should not be dating, in my opinion.
First of all, totally.
If you
hands
can't
down.
be secure in
hands
a woman
down.
and who you're picking,
and that's for both men and women. Yeah.
If you're not ready to be a leader, own that. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Just
if you're figuring it out, that's
together.
okay. But figure it out. Yeah. And take this time to figure it out.
It took me a while to be more feminine. Like, I didn't know I wasn't feminine. I thought being a girl was just, you are feminine because you're
a girl. Yeah.
I'm a girl. Like, how could I not be feminine? I'm such a girl. But I had to actually realize that what speaks to a man, and that became more important to me to like, why when I want to speak the language of a person I love? Why when I want to speak the language of a man?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I think something that you would give to that man would mean that he deserved it because he already does what he needs to do as a man.
Yeah. He earned it. Yeah.
So there's this element of, like, again, alignment. I use that word a lot. But it's him being who he needs to be already.
Yeah.
And you being who you need to
be.
Already.
That's it.
Right? So you can bring that to a relationship and then he can bring that and you're like, oh, snap, this works. Right?
Me and my wife tell each other, like, we're not here to make each other happy.
Right.
Like, we're not. And like you say, some people just like that dating rule. Like, what? They never heard shit. Yeah, they don't understand that. But no, and it's a deep concept, but it's really simple. Like, you're supposed to already be happy. You're supposed to be confident within yourself, a joy to yourself already.
To supplement that for you.
A motherfucker's not supposed to fix you.
No, not at all. And I think that's why, because then the relationship becomes a burden. And then the guy's just
to
like,
somebody.
For this. You think a high-valued man, a man who is going out here and on his big one, he is a boss, living his life, buying the best cars, sitting at the table with the best people, making moves in life is going to sit around and make sure that you're emotionally stable? He's not. He's going to kick you to the curb. He might sleep with you. He might take you on a few dates. He might use you, but he's not going to marry you.
I think what you touched on is like a very important point, is like you give people too much power.
Yes.
You give people too much. And I don't think they're understanding what that means, or even that sentence. Like when you get, like you're giving somebody ownership or power over how you feel about you, what you do for you. Right. And that, I said it the other day, like how
it ain't gonna work.
What you do for you isn't supposed to be contingent upon what anybody does for anybody. You know, like your success is yours. Your happiness, your joy, all that shit is yours, that you are 100% in control of. And I think too many people, and I don't know if it's a emotional immaturity. I don't even know what to call it.
I don't think people even know.
Yeah, and that's
just an unawareness.
Yeah, and I think it's that, because I don't want to say immature, because like these are high functioning people. People they got people I would respect. Yeah. But then like you ever been around somebody you respect, and then they say something they're like, oh shit, you one of them. Like, oh my god, and damn, I put you on a pedestal, and this motherfucker is just remedial, and it just be one little thing. But it's important though. You know, because this whole show is about mindset.
Yeah, mindset.
It's about
so
mindset,
important.
Mental health, self-reflection, all that. Mindset is you.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's mine. It's mine.
It's mine.
Yeah. So it's all about you. It's all about you. How you think, what you feel, what you like, how you react. So I think that is like the number one lesson people should learn, or at least even think about learning. Because I think the folks who are, like you say, low functioning, low vibration, are people that are very external. Yeah. They think everything is the reason why something of them. Yeah. Oh, I'm this way because my mama, my daddy, you know what I'm saying? And they're not lying in the circumstance of what caused them, but they're lying and using that shit as a problem. Like that, that doesn't still have to be the problem.
My favorite saying, I wish I could tell you who said it. I'm not going to take credit for it, but one of my favorite sayings that I've heard in the last year: the world cannot give you what you don't already have. Think about what that means. The world cannot give you what you don't already have. You have to be that already to receive it. Yeah. You can't come from a place of lack and expect abundance. Yeah. You have to be abundant before abundance finds you. Yeah. Because what frequency are you on? Right? Like I'm sitting here and I spend a lot of money on myself. Like people are like, oh, you got money. It's not about that, right? Like I came from, I grew up poor, right? I'm not going to say, it was air sandwiches and water sandwiches and syrup sandwiches, but there was an element of like, my parents didn't really
have it all. Yeah,
I didn't have it all. Yeah. I grew up.
You didn't have dessert some
poor.
nights. Yeah.
Juice wasn't in the house. We drank water. We had 2% milk for our cereal. Some people were like, oh, I've had worse than that. I get it. But for me, my reality was I grew up having less than the people around me. Right? My cousins had I would go to their house.
There was no abundance.
And my best friends, like they would have Capri Suns. That was huge for me. Like, wow. Oh my God. And their mother.
Lunchables and shit.
Oh my God. Their mother was the reason I knew what a Capri Sun was. Like she'd be like, here, y'all can come over here and eat. And like we would eat up their snacks because I didn't have snacks. Like that was my reality. Some people grew up worse than that. And I understand that. Yeah. But
it's not about that. Yeah.
It's not about that. For me, it was my reality. Like, oh, well, if I want something, I better go get it. Right? Talking about what we did earlier. I am saying that because I gifted myself what I wanted before anyone could gift me something of value. Right? I did it for myself first. Yeah. I eat at expensive restaurants because that's what I like. Yeah. Right? I want the finer things because I didn't have them. Yeah. So I have built this life for myself, not to go into a relationship and
to need this,
to need it, to what's the word I'm looking
Maintain
for?
it?
Not even that. To drive it.
Yeah, you have that already. Yeah.
Let me tell you, as much as I have right now, whoever I am, this independence that I have right now, and I've said this on my podcast, that does not trump my femininity. That does not trump my ability to be led by a righteous leader.
You know what I love?
That does not keep me from submitting to a man. If I am with a man, if I choose a man and say, this is my man, I do what he says. I don't care what I have. I do what that man says, or he's not my man. So choose wisely. I don't care what I have.
Oh, you said it right there. And only because you chose him.
I chose
to lead.
him.
You chose him to do a job you didn't want to do all the time.
Why did you pick him?
And that's another, and you know what? And that's leaning into your game. Yeah. That's leaning in, like, hold on, in your decision making. You leaned into your decision making. I picked a motherfucker that can do what I think he can damn do. Why am I gonna keep making this decision?
I don't care what I have. I am not gonna be masculine.
You know
in my
what?
Relationship.
And the funny thing is, I respect that because in all the women that I've associated with, boss women that I respect, I'll say some shit. Like, look at you, independent women don't need no man. And the one that I really respect to be like, shit. You know what I'm saying?
I need a man ASAP.
Shit.
I'm not putting that together. I'm like, and if you want him to love on you right, he has to be, I feel like you have to be so into it. Like, you have to be you have to relinquish that power to him. And it's such an like I talk about this all the time, it's such an energetic exchange. It's so powerful.
It should be liberating.
It is.
I would think it is.
I don't want to tell a man what to do. I don't want to tell a man how to be. I don't want to tell a man, like, hey, this is how you treat a woman, by the way. Like, hey, this is how I, obviously he has to learn you, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has to know who you are and what makes you tick. But, like, I love the idea of being submissive. Like, I love the idea of letting a man lead. I don't want to do nothing. I built this life because I thought I had to.
Yeah.
I built this life because I was good at it, right?
And
like,
still,
I didn't
you
do
still
it.
do you.
Yeah.
And like him being who he is does not stop you from being who you are.
I'm still coachable. I'm still teachable. I could still be wrong.
Yeah.
I could still understand, like, hey, this was, I hear him. I hear him because that is not at any, what's the word I'm looking for? It has nothing to do with my worthiness. It has nothing to do with my ability to be a strong, independent woman. I don't thrive on that. If I am in a relationship with a man that is null and void, I like to think of myself as a fire extinguisher in a relationship. Do you understand what I mean?
I'm helping you put out shit. Yeah.
If you need me, pop the pen, spray it. I got you. I'm resourceful. I'm smart. I got money. I can help you out. If you don't need it, you don't need it. Fine. I'm here. I got you. I am a fire extinguisher. I put out fires. Until then, put me in the case, lock that shit up.
Yeah. We go about on there, and we do our thing.
I am needed.
For all the young ladies out there, because like I said, it's a generational thing. We're getting older, and there's adults coming up that are a generation behind us. You know what I'm saying? In their 20s, who don't get half the game. You know what I'm saying? Who grew up without the mamas and the daddies that were the old school mamas and the daddies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for them. I'm glad you're here because you're showing them that okay, let me reword it. For them, like, the finish line doesn't match what they really want. Like when you're saying, like, meaning, like, the finish line for some folks that they're being sold is that independence and all that. But in the end, you want to be with somebody.
Be independent by yourself.
Yeah, and that's the problem, and that's the conundrum. And I think that's where the disconnect is. It's like you're doing all this for what you say you say you want something, but everything you're doing is against what you're really going, what you really want in life.
Like yourself in the foot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want you want a man to admire your brain, but you're showing your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like that whole reverse shit. It's like and I say the youngsters because,
well,
I think not even youngsters.
Well, I'm just saying I think women specifically misappropriate attention, right? Like you can get male attention. That's not hard to do. Like anyone can get male attention.
Thinking attention is love.
Yeah, but are you getting male retention?
Ooh, who's coming back?
Who's staying around?
Yeah,
Who's actually trying to wife you? So I think we mistake, like, oh, he owned me, he hit me yet, he want to hang out. He's doing the bare minimum to get to you. And I think that's why I keep trying to re-emphasize this point over and over and over and over again. Man got the code because you're giving it to them. Take me on a date. Do this. Buy me this. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with
nothing with
actual
reality.
interest in you. Because some men can throw a bag at you.
Yeah.
Some men can pay for you. Some men can do that. But if you can't just say that, those be the ones who, okay, they don't got it. And I'm not saying they should be contenders.
But they the ones to build with.
Yeah. Like, think about it. Sit down and really think about it. Do the math. You can get male attention. Anyone can get male attention. That is not hard to do. Stop praising yourself for getting male attention. No one cares. Mm-hmm. Anyone can do that. Male attention is not hard to do. I'm saying that over and over and over again because it's like, get it through your thick ass head. Yeah. Male attention is easy.
It's easy.
Everyone can get male attention. Who are you retaining? Who is sticking around? Who is trying to wife you? Who is trying to build a life with you? That should be what you're most concerned about. And if you're not someone that a man can build his life with, you have to own that. You have to figure, oh, okay, I am not coachable. I am not teachable. I am not fun.
Yeah, I don't listen.
Fit. I do not listen. I am combative. I do not take care of myself.
You know what?
What is important to men? I know you're going to say something, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. Keep going.
I am so in tune with what is important to men because the man is what I am trying to attain. I don't care if women don't like me. I'm not dating you.
Man.
Hello, like who cares if you don't like me? You're not in the runnings. I'm not trying to please you.
She ain't trying to be in a family. You ain't trying to put her in a family.
So if you want a man, why wouldn't you do what the man wants? If you want a job, if you want to get an interview, don't you need to qualify for it first?
You know one thing that like I said, I had no direction. Or no clue in what direction this was gonna go, and the crazy thing is,
I'm just trying to figure it out.
But the crazy thing is, like, it's more relevant than ever because this is the holes of what I was talking about, just from the perspective point, like, because what you're saying is like, and it's not even what you said verbatim, but one thing that you're showing is that you don't even have to be a boss. To be led, and not to take nothing from you, but sometimes, like you say, some women, especially, but some women, like you say, they're only in a position they just want a man, but like, hold on, like even if that was your goal, you weren't a woman, and it's almost like you're not just because before, like, the whole reason why you're here because I see the boss and the finances and the lifestyle and all that shit, but what you're teaching people today is how to be bosses, period. All the bare minimum of a woman. You know, this is straight that opposite sex. I don't, because the things you're saying, I would never articulate or even say that way because that's not even who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like, I talk to women, but only from a perspective of talking to you, not like with you or this is what we should be doing. Like, no, this is what y'all should be doing. Yeah. But and still with that back in my mind, like, I could be wrong because I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
You know, but you.
Is that the gap you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, this is the confirmation because I know you and I know how you think.
Yeah.
You know, and we known each other for a while, so I'm already in tune with the shit you're saying, but I've never heard you speak this long on relationships. And this is what I want.
It was newer for me to actually speak on it. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I would never do it. Yeah.
Man, and that's what's so new. And I'm just like, I'm enjoying
we
myself.
Some of these comments. Do you mind?
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see what some of these people are
Hey, we're going to go live with some comments. What are some of the comments?
Teaching a woman to be a boss is light years easy opposed to them taking accountability. That's different. Okay. I'm not sure. That wasn't really a question. Well, well, this is going to take one thing the era of what women will not do, which is take accountability.
That accountability comes up a lot.
It does
and you know what? But the sad
lot.
thing is, it's not just women. It's everybody.
Yeah.
It's everybody. Like, because I know a lot of brothers out there, if you take more accountability, you'll be a boss. Because to some degree, that's a separation.
Yeah.
How much of your shit are you going to own?
Right.
And the more your shit you own, the more in control you are, just like you said, right?
Yeah. Okay. Someone asked me, Jenny, do you have any regrets or something you would change in your past if you could? I don't know why my eye is burning. Like something got in my eye. Let's see. Okay. I'm all caught up. There wasn't a lot of comments. Okay. Let me put this back.
What's the answer?
I don't have any regrets. No. Shoot. Of course, I locked my phone because I don't know how to work this. God, dog. There's something in my eye.
Do you need some, I got some eye drops, some eye wash.
Maybe. Hold on.
I'll go grab it anyway.
Okay. Y'all, we got to have a quick pause because I think I got salt in my eye. Good God. Oh.
Full rinse and shit.
Woo. Cause I think I got salt or something in my eye. Like
that corner.
Maybe. Like what the?
Some dried tears in the corner. Or that sleep. Yeah, I be checking my eyes and the corners of my mouth all the time. I be dehydrated.
Yeah. You gotta drink more water, man.
I try to. I do, but like, I'll forget. I'll forget. I don't drink juice. I do not drink juice. I don't drink soda. I drink water, sparkling water, or liquor. Like I said, we're here with Jennifer Gibbs.
Taking a quick little
An eye break, you know, and still talking to her people. Like I said, it's a whole different Jennifer. The last time I didn't, man, it was just Jennifer, the tech programmer. Now it's the other side of what makes her a successful tech programmer. Because to be a success at anything, this is what you're gonna have to go through. These are the ideas, thoughts, and nuances in life that have to be addressed. And that's why I always call this a really show on personal development, because we want to talk about the shit that nobody talks about. The shit that we don't think about, but everybody has to deal with every single day, multiple times. But nobody thinks to make a show around, an episode on, or even articulate a sentence on. And that's one thing that I appreciate today. Like, you articulated a bunch of thoughts that was like, wow, if I'd have flipped how I thought about it, that's how it would sound. But it's crazy because like, yeah, I would have never articulated anything the way you said it in regards to dating and just that whole mindset. Because you're speaking to women. Like, and that's crazy. And now I see how controversial these shows are. Like Kevin Samuels and Corey Holcomb and all these folks, because like, it's a real issue. Because to me, like, you make perfect sense. But you know how many people you don't make sense to? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot.
Oh, they be coming for me.
You know, I can imagine your like, when you guys do a show, I can imagine your lives. You know what I'm saying? Or the people tuning in and saying, because it's controversial and it's shit that people don't want to hear. But I think people are drawn to it for a reason, because they know there's some truth in it. If people really didn't believe you, they wouldn't listen to you.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If people really didn't like, oh, that's some straight bullshit, they not even intrigued to hear why you thought that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because as soon as it's something that you have to take accountability for, that's really hard for people to do. And that's something that I put in the forefront. I always blame myself first. Mm-hmm. I am the problem. There is no other problem, because
everything else is secondary. It's a secondary problem. Yeah.
Either it's, okay, here's the thing. I'll give you an example. If I stay in a relationship that's not working, right? Or if I stay at a job where I'm not appreciated, okay? Of course, sometimes
like, that's your first problem. You're already off top. Yeah.
I'm staying.
Yeah. Seriously.
I'm hoping that the job changes or the person that I'm in the relationship changes, but I don't have to change. I'm good. I'm relinquished from I'm absolved. Excuse me. I'm absolved from having any responsibility because I've decided that it's someone else's fault. That again takes you out of the driver's seat, and that puts you in a position where you have no control. Okay, cool. Guess what I'm gonna do? If I'm in a job that I don't like, obviously I need to eat. I need to get paid.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my
build
well-being.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my well-being.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come up with a game plan. I'm gonna put up with this for 6 months.
You're gonna have a plan to change,
or get myself out of that position.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm in a relationship with someone that has proven over and over that they're not right for me, and I stay, that is my fault because I'm waiting for someone else to change first to get what I want. If you go to what's a restaurant that you've been to that you didn't like and you never went again?
Damn, there was a Mexican restaurant in downtown LA and they took it away.
Why didn't you go back?
It was horrible. The food was horrible.
Okay, so if you kept going there,
I never went back.
But that's my point.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's like you going every day and complaining about the food. The chef ain't gonna change nothing.
No.
Stop eating at the restaurant. You don't like it.
That's self-control.
Stop showing up in places that you don't like being in and expecting the environment to change. Why? Someone likes it, just not you.
Yeah.
So you're going to show up every day to a restaurant, order the same thing, and hate it every day and
complain.
Eat it and complain.
And act like it's their fault.
And it's the restaurant's fault. That is an option, sir, ma'am. You chose to go there, sir, ma'am. So how about you just stop showing up? And it's hard, right? Ending a relationship is not easy. Getting a new job is not easy. You got to interview. You got to.
It's effort.
Like, it's a lot.
It's effort.
It's a lot.
It's a process.
I'm not going to undermine the process.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to.
You're not gonna.
It's necessity.
Yeah. You're not gonna excuse the complacency.
I'm not gonna excuse the complacency. And I get it. Some people have kids. Some people have this. It's a lot to unravel a relationship. I'm not saying that.
You know
but
what?
I think the sooner you get to that point.
You still got to make those decisions that are hard. And you know what? It's funny because my parents weren't shit to a certain degree. You know, I love them. But my upbringing wasn't shit to a certain degree. You know, and one thing that I look at other parents who people that call themselves trying to be good parents, but they're stuck because they call themselves trying to be good parents, but they can't advance in life. They can't do anything else because they call themselves trying to be good parents. It's like a wheel. I look at them like
a guilt in that.
Yeah, and you know what? And I look at them like, you don't know how easy it is to not give a fuck for a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know, some people they hate that. Oh, I don't want to be a deadbeat dad. Like, you can get yourself like, you don't know how easy it is to just only focus on you, because in the end, you might not be there for someone, but getting better is the reward for everybody around you. Yeah. You know, and I want to help people understand that their well-being, it trumps being everything else to anybody. If you're not right, even if everything is good and you got your kids living with you, if you're not right and you're unhappy and all you're doing is providing, they see that shit. They don't want to be unhappy like you, so they're not going to do everything you did right because they don't want to be in that position. So everything you did right becomes like something that they don't want the job, they don't want the career, they don't want the education. Why? Because you're not happy. Fuck what we have. You're not happy. What do you think?
It's hard. I think it's hard. I don't want to undermine the difficult pieces of that. It's nuance, and I know that it's not just but it is, right?
Seriously.
There's an element
change
of
your mind, you change your life. That's what Delaware said when we had a celebrity legend luncheon, Hollywood Legends luncheon. It was Bill Duke, Della Reese, and Nicole Nichols, the one that played Uhura, the first black in Star Trek. But the whole thing is, they all got to speak, and one thing Della Reese said, it just never left my head. She said, change your mind and you'll change your life. Yeah. And it was so simple. It was so go to school. You know, it was like one of those cliche shits. But when you hear some cliche shit at a time where you understand why it's right and works, it doesn't become cliche no more. It becomes like, oh my God, that's it. So, and I want to help people get there younger and younger and earlier and earlier. That's the whole point of this show. Get to that point early. Don't go through everything that we went through to get to the same place of us telling you that this is the other side of that bullshit that you just gonna roll with. You know what I'm saying? We telling you.
Yeah. My best friend said it best. He's like, it may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Man, for real. And that's what I say.
It's not your fault. Like, I think once you can get past that, this is my fault, or just like once you get out of the pity party, like go ahead, have the pity party.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Never
blame somebody at first. Yeah.
Like give it.
Yeah, my mom, you ain't shit.
Yeah,
you know, if
give
you gotta say that,
yeah.
But now what?
But own it up.
Now
own up,
what?
Boss up. Decide that like it is up to you to do something, and that was the biggest thing. And I would say this to men, because again, men talk a lot about women not taking accountability. I know it's tough out there. Women have been taught from a very early age that like men should do all these things and they don't have to do anything. Because you have a vagina, because you're a woman, you don't have to do anything. And I feel sorry for y'all that there is a majority of women out there that will not take accountability for their actions. They want to show up and do nothing and get everything. There is an element of that. It is not to just side with men. It is a true fact. I see it. And a lot of women that I talk to, they're always like, oh, you're not on my side. I'm like, baby girl, it's not about side.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I understand that. But I think if you hold out for someone who will, you'll be better for it. And women, if you really want a man to invest in you and to be a leader, pick leaders. If he's not ready to be a leader, leave him alone. Don't try to change him into one. Like, I think we both play a part as men and women in this debacle that we have. Own your part. Figure out who you are and how you show up in relationships. Figure out who you show up in the job, how you show up in the job place. Figure out how you show up in your friendships. Like, again, the deep dive is going to hurt.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How do you know you're ready for a relationship?
When you're not anxiously attached, if you're not avoidant, if you're not... if you're willing to see your part in things, if you're willing to show up and be able to have a conversation and say, you know what, I'm triggered right now.
Yeah.
Like in my most recent relationships, I was like, you know what, I'm triggered right now. I need a break. I
identified it. Yeah.
Like if you can say and honor yourself and honor that person, because a lot of people, like a lot of guys that I've dated don't like the fact that I need like a cooling off period. Like I've been called cold.
Yeah.
Cold hearted.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just don't care. I'm emotionless.
Yeah.
I get called a lot of things because like I need a cooling off period. I need to like, hold on, give me a minute. I'm not reacting.
Like, you're not any of those things. You're just doing whatever you're doing by yourself. Your processing is by yourself.
Yes.
Or, like you said, you can go through your process without reacting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would rather not, because here's the thing. I don't say nothing I don't mean.
Yeah.
And I do not apologize.
There you go.
I don't. I hate apologies. Don't apologize to me.
Yeah.
Because I do everything with intention.
Yeah.
So if I said it,
you meant it. You meant it. Yeah.
I don't apologize.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
I do not. And that's not like, I'm not boasting about that.
No.
I'm saying that because I know who I am.
Whatever you ran with, you stand by. That's
I
what it is.
I will stand on it.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, if someone's like, you're wrong, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see where I was wrong. Yeah. But again,
and then that's when you'll apologize.
I don't do a bunch of things that I don't have to apologize for in the first place.
Like, you ain't just sit talking shit. Like you say, you did your research, whatever it is. I'm not just throwing shit out there.
No. So I say that because I very much know who I am. And if I feel like every argument that you can have in a relationship means that you don't have an agreement. And if you don't have an agreement, I try to go to that part.
Somebody breached the contract. It wasn't a contract.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we misunderstood each other.
Yeah. I didn't read that clause.
The thing. I am so in tune with myself and like who I am as a person. I can give you space. Tell me everything. I don't have to interject. I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to say anything to make my point. I don't care to make my point. It's not about making my point.
Some people, they're only right if they're talking. I mean, seriously, they only feel like they're right as long as they're talking. They're saying something. Because as soon as they shut up, they feel like that's an admission that they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Oh, okay.
Like something that only they have to argue their point, and they don't shut the fuck up because they feel as soon as they shut up, like, oh, they lost or someone got over on them. And you know, that's those are mental health issues. Those are toxic traits. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point is, you even saying
the entitlement in the first place.
Yeah, but you saying even like when I ask you, how do you know you're ready for a relationship? Nothing about you said you have to be perfect first.
Right.
And I always said you don't have to be perfect to be successful. Success will meet you in the middle. A good relationship will meet you in the middle. But what you said was important. You have to be working on everything that ain't perfect. Or you have to acknowledge and understand what ain't perfect about you. It ain't just going there oblivious like ain't nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, well, understand.
But I'm taking inventory of you.
Well, understand what you're good at and what I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, like, let's say I have a man who makes all the money, terrible at managing it. Okay,
Man.
well, I'm good at managing it. I'll make sure the bills get paid, so he gives me all the money. I make sure.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
I
always said that.
Push and pull is like,
exactly.
Hey, I dated a guy who never really hit arguments or like disagreements head on. Like, he needed a minute, and I always fell back to give him. He
had to assess what was happening.
Yeah, I never made him talk to me right now.
You're not supposed to. Oh
I
my
never
God.
made him talk to me.
That's a lesson
right
in
now.
itself.
Never.
That was a lesson in itself.
I didn't blow up his phone. I didn't keep calling him.
You didn't make him have an answer.
Make him have an answer.
Man,
Never
how important is that?
Oh my! I think it's important. I don't know. You would have to ask him if he
Yeah,
appreciated
but man,
it.
because I know somebody like they don't just want them to have an answer; they want it to be the right answer now. And now it's two problems. There's two issues going on here. You're fucking with somebody who's not even in position to be kind and nice and all that, and then you want it to be right.
But let me tell you why I think that is so important. Because there is a certain level of understanding that he will talk to me when he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't
have that understanding either,
he's gonna talk to you when he's ready, then you don't know your man, and he's not as invested as you might think.
Look at this. I love the level of accountability, but it's also just making sense.
It's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I wouldn't say that used to be super, super hard for me, but I think that I had to get to a place where, like, I would be okay with not having answers. Mm-hmm. Would I get it eventually, or do I trust that I would get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I also dated a guy who hit things head on. He was just like, oh, yeah, let's talk about
it. We can talk about it right now. Yeah.
And that was just his way of doing it. But then I sometimes wasn't ready. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just understanding your mate and understand, like, oh, this is how he communicates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I understood how.
And everybody's different.
Him breathing differently.
Yeah.
Something
Serious. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
'cause he wasn't like, oh, babe, I had a bad day. Like, he never really talked like
that.
that.
Yeah.
But I could feel it and sense him like, oh, okay, well, let me just go cook something. Or let me just go be like, oh, here's your favorite ice cream. Or,
yeah. Oh.
hey,
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
Like,
but give him that room to be.
And then, oh my God, when he did talk, couldn't stop him from talking.
Floodgates. Yeah. Floodgates.
Floodgates.
Yeah.
So I think it's just understanding timing, understanding who you're with. And I think you have to be a very secure person to do that.
I was going to say that. You have to be secure.
Yeah.
Because anything will trigger an insecurity. That's why they call them insecurities. Yeah. Anything will trigger that. But if you're secure, you're strong. Like, that's one thing about my wife. Like, even she said recently, like, and it was funny because she was like, because I was commending her, like, you got a full-time job, you're a full-time student, you're a part-time fitness instructor, you're vegan, you know what I'm saying? Like,
are you vegan too?
No.
Okay, I wonder how that works.
Yeah. Oh, she takes care of her own food, and I take care of my own shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I said all those things, and it was like, it was praising her. And she said, but yeah, you're the only one that suffers. Meaning, like, the time. Like, she puts a lot of time and everything like that. That's a real strain on, like, her being in school full time or working full time and all that. Like, it's a time thing. But she even understanding that, yeah, you're the only one that suffers in this. Like you're not getting all that time and all that. But I appreciated the acknowledgement of her even understanding, like, that is a sacrifice, even though that's nothing, because I don't have to go to school. I don't have to fucking read and study with you and all that shit. Like, I don't have to do nothing, but my support is falling back and not, like you said, if I was insecure, I'd be like, we ain't kicked it, we ain't hung out, we ain't did this, we ain't did that. Like, but allowing that space to do us, because the drive and our like you said, our alignment is what's important. Not what we're like. We don't have to confirm. Like, I don't need that. Like you said, that he loves me, she loves me not type shit. I don't have that doubt every moment. You have to be secure in that. Like, okay, my partner's there, and that's what she said. Like, she's like, I know you're gonna be there. I know you're gonna be there. Like she doesn't worry about me stressing out about her being so busy. Yeah, it's serious, because it can go back. If it's insecurity, it goes back, and it should be nothing. It'd be what you think the other person think, and how do you think they think about you thinking, and nobody thinking that shit. And that's why it's so important to be secure. And if you're not, speak on it. Yeah. Like you say, hold on.
And you have to have a partner who's willing to like listen, right?
Oh, it's only that. It doesn't work if you don't have a partner.
And if you're just gonna be combative and be like, no, then
it's not gonna work. Yeah. It's not gonna work. So there's a lot of compatibility in that. But I wanted to speak on this because this isn't. And to be honest, it's not even just boss relationships. These are relationships. These are how successful relationships are built to become bosses. One thing I admire about your brother and your sister-in-law is like they are the epitome of a boss family. You know what I'm saying? I look at that and I have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. I don't. Man, but from what they present and how they are, how the kids come like that, it's only an example of what I would want for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I appreciate, and that's why I look at mentors as being people that live the life you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at mentors as just person that has that money, but I don't like it, how they got it. I'm not into their business. I'm not into that. You know, it's like, are they happy? Is their family happy? Do they move as a unit? You know, the little shit that I'm looking for, they have, and that's why I always respected that, because I think that takes a lot of emotional maturity. That takes a lot of self-reflection and accountability. Like, they have a great relationship from the outside looking in, and from what I've heard, nothing else. Like, there's nothing to get me anything else to believe.
Regardless of that, obviously they're in alignment.
Yeah, and
because I'm sure if somebody was in discourse of that would show.
It would show. Exactly. Just like when something's off in a beat, it might not be off right now, but if it's staying off, it's going to be way off later on. Yeah, so I appreciate that, and that's what I'm saying. This wasn't just a class on boss relationship. It was a class on relationships and successful relationships, and also a class on happiness. Because a lot of people are unhappy because they're not looking inside. They're not seeing where they play a part. And they have these way out expectations, but no expectations of themselves. Yeah. And I think like you, me, we put expectations on ourselves. Just like you said, you blame you first. Yeah. I'm hard on me. Yeah. I'm hard on me. I'm hard on people who aren't hard on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, how you just get over that, man? You should blame yourself a little more. Me, I'm too hard on myself sometimes, but I at least give myself that because I know I fucked up. Yeah. To me, it's an acknowledgement that I fucked up. Because if I just played it off, I'll do it again. I'm not trying to make any mistake again. And I think that's the
ones over and over if you can help it.
If you can help it, because we're all human. We're going to fall into some traps. But the whole point of this show and just the whole general philosophy is creating and living your own definition of success. You know, how do we do that? And we do that by owning our decision making, owning the things we can't control, having the expectations in what we can't control, and that's us. Not putting any expectations on anybody. They're supposed to do this, because if you manage you right and perfect and impeccably, everything else is gonna just be what it is. It's gonna be the way you want it. Yeah. And that's what creating your definition of success means. Yep. And living it is just appreciating the moment, appreciating the process. Enjoying the hustle.
Yeah, everything's going to be all right. One of my things that I say multiple times a day, every day, is everything is always working out for me.
I love that.
Everything is always working out.
You know what? I tell that to my wife. I'm like, man, everyththing just works out for you. You know, it be some people weird shit happen. And just shit just end up in her favor and all that. Like everything just works out for you. But it's not to take away from anything she does to add favor to shit working out for her. And just like you, that discipline, like you didn't do nothing to make shit not work out in your favor. You know, me, I do a bunch of shit. Like if I make it home, I'm surprised. You know, sometimes, more so before I was married. But like now, it's like being intentional is everything. Yeah. And I have to say she's way more intentional than me. Because there's some things where I'll know when I'm not being intentional. I know when I'm not, like, focusing on my health right now, focusing on the best shit on my, I know when I'm not.
I can do that too. Yeah. You got to reel it in. We're we ebb and flow. We have our good and our bad,
But it's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And knowing. And like I said, and that's where you can be hard on yourself. I know when I'm fucking up. And I love that. Last words, man. Last words to the audience, advice, final thoughts, man. What do you want to say, Jennifer Gibbs? You came with so much game, and like I can't imagine what you're gonna say because cause
now I'm nervous.
You got game in different areas, man. What do you want to leave our audience with?
I think what is resonating with me right now, just based on this conversation, is don't be afraid to dig into yourself. Take that deep dive. Take some accountability. Know thyself, right?
Know thyself.
I think it's so important to really, really, really dig into yourself. Everything is your fault. Everything is what you want it to be. And it's so powerful that it's often missed.
It's an uplifting thing that you say, because if you're listening to it wrong, everything's my fault. But like I said,
it sounds like a woe is me kind of thing, or everything's my fault. But no, it's not.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Say it.
I regret it. I regret nothing is what I was trying to say.
And you regret not thinking that way earlier, if anything.
Yeah. But also, like, everything got me here, and while there are some challenges in my life, and everything is not hunky-dory perfect all the time, I think that I understand, again, life ebbs and flows, things happen. You're not necessarily in control of that, but you are in control of what you think. You are in control of what you allow yourself to be. And the more that I read and the more that I immerse myself in understanding my frequency, understanding my part in everything, it really helps me grow and elevate to the person that I want to be. And the person that I want to be is someone who always looks into herself and takes accountability. A person who can be wrong, a person who can be coached, a person who can be told something, a person who has compassion and empathy for other people. Because I've stabilized myself purposefully. I've intentionally done these things because of the person that I want to be. I want to be a great partner. I want to be a great employee. I want to be a great business owner. I want to be a great friend. That's really important to me. So I spend a lot of my time figuring out how I can do that while honoring myself, while advocating for myself, while growing, while becoming a better version of myself every day. 2%. The best thing that my therapist ever told me, and I'll leave you with this: when you get into a plane, right, the plane sets a destination. Like, it'll say, okay, I'm in California and I want to go to Florida. They set the ticks, right? They say, this is how many ticks. And again, if I'm wrong on the exact way, y'all can come for me if you want. I don't care. The point is, get the message. And the message is that I am setting my sights on Florida. I'm getting on that plane to go to Florida. But when you're in the air, the wind pushes you this way. The clouds, the turbulence, they get you off your mark. And the plane self-corrects so that you end up in Florida. Without that, you can end up in New York. One tick, one change in the plane's trajectory can take you completely off course. So have an awareness for those ticks. Have an awareness for those things that knock you off your pivot and get back on course. That is more important than anything else that you can be doing. It is the smallest change. Make a small change. Be a little more accountable. Be a little more self-aware every single day. A little until it becomes a lot.
Wow. Can't argue with none of that. That is Jennifer Gibbs, straight up guru in relationships now, amongst everything else she does well. And it's just awesome to hear her and see her blossom and grow into everything that she is going to be, can be, and will be. And I just appreciate it all. There was so many gems. It could have went on for more. And we're going to do a part 3.
Okay.
because now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to take it here because this is what the show needed. Because like I said, I can never speak from that perspective, and this is why I always have boss women on my show because I want to, first of all, show that there are women bosses. Like it ain't just a man dominated. Like the success ain't just a man's sport. Keep it real. Success is out there for everybody, but there's different mindsets for different people to be successful. Like what is successful for a woman may be completely different from what's successful for me or every other man. And I might think like every other man and think it's like me, but she thinks that's, like I said, it's being able to speak to everybody, and I want everybody to get value, and that was the most valuable shit because I agreed with it all. So I like it. It wasn't like, oh, no, I'm going to talk some shit later.
Go ahead.
Like, And
it's
happened, you know? Because one thing I love is, like, I always get to know people more when they're on my show. I always think I know them. I always think, and I love them already. That's why they're on the show. But when you're on here and you're speaking, you're really just like giving it all, like everything that you are, you pour it out in the game and just the experience. And when I see that, like, damn, it makes me appreciate so much more. Like when your brother was here, and just like I appreciate someone, and you think you can't appreciate somebody more. Like
yeah, no,
man,
seriously.
your brother is a love. I ain't never seen a grown ass man get so many presents at his birthday party in my motherfucking life. And I know because I bought one. So I know why everybody bought one, because this motherfucker deserved one.
He's enriched everyone.
Man, but that's impact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you
yeah.
come from that, and that's in your circle, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate having him in my circle, even though he ain't my blood. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, my brother's the best.
And which gives you more credit, which allows me to understand that you know what the fuck you're talking about. You ain't just here blowing smoke, and you're not an unsuccessful person talking about how to get a relationship, what you should be, and all. You know what I'm saying? Like people want to be you without the relationship. You know what I'm saying? You have a status that a lot of people look up to regardless of who they want to be in a relationship. So however you feel personally is important.
Well, thank you.
That's what I feel. That's why I say that this episode was better, because it tapped into all the things that make you, all the things that make you successful, all the things that makes a successful relationship with another successful person. Because there's a lot of people that say, I want a winner, but are you a winner? Can you even play the role of a winner? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers can't even fake winning, but want a winner. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't happen.
That's why I say, everything that I would want in a relationship, I've been to myself first.
I love that. Be who you want to be.
Be who you want to be.
And if you want to go out on a date, date yourself. Yeah. I always say, man, you got to take yourself out. You got to get to know you, and sometimes you got to go out with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you at the house, you so distracted, man. Go out with you. Be with you somewhere else and get to talking to yourself.
You can't sit in a room by yourself with your own thoughts. I hope you're in therapy, baby, because I love my thoughts.
Seriously.
I don't run from my thoughts at all.
Some people do, and it's amazing how many people.
I cope by sleeping sometimes. Like, if I'm too all over the place, I'll just go to sleep.
Yeah. And that's hard to do when you. I can't do that when I'm thinking about too much. But the point is, like, you do have to love yourself enough to want to be with yourself and appreciate yourself. Because if you can't, why would anybody want to be with you? If you can't stand being with you, if you can't spend 5 minutes alone with you, why would anybody else want to? Anyway, I love all of y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank Jennifer's audience and all her people for tuning in, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out the UAF podcast.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Where is it at?
Everywhere. Our handle is the same everywhere.
Okay, so it's on Amazon podcast. It's on Spotify.
Yeah, everywhere.
Check them out. They got game. And I know Six. I know them folks. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the show notes. Okay. So I'll put the link and all that stuff so you guys can go straight to it and start already liking and subscribing they shit too. Because like I said, man, great folks, successful folks. I don't know your other hosts personally, but I know Six, great dude, businessman, always been about himself, always invested in himself. And he did what he had to do to be who he is, and I respect him too. And I want him on the show. I asked him before, but he ain't came on yet.
Oh, okay.
But he said
Let me see if I can get him.
There you go. You put it on his other ear.
Yeah,
I put it in one ear, put it in the other, so it doesn't go. Yeah, so they just meet in the middle and he'll come.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate your show. I appreciate you, Jen, always.
Thanks for
always.
having
We
me.
got some gifts for you. And
I
definitely.
can't wait.
and definitely got a book for you too.
Okay.
And for everybody out there, man, get the book, My First Hustle, for the little young hustler in your life, man. I wish I had that book when I was younger, then I wouldn't have done half the shit I did in court cases for. But anyway, I love all of y'all, man. Check out the website, lifeofaboss.net. Check out the podcast, like, subscribe, and share. And remember that success is indeed a lifestyle. Peace.
Peace. All right.
Did anything stand out to you in today's show? If so, let us know. Your questions, comments, and concerns are important to Jason, as he is determined to always deliver to you only the most impactful information and content. Until next time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave a review whenever possible. You may visit lifeofaboss.net for more episodes and great resources to help you become the absolute boss that you were meant to be. You can also follow Jason on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hardway Harden. Thank you. And never forget that success is a lifestyle.